What's going on, and welcome to the Stick Drift Podcast, a podcast for all things cars, racing games, motorsports, and more.
I don't mind that Z4 estate.
The Z4 estate where?
The thing you put up last week in this week's main topics. They're making that, by the way. That's not a concept. They're making that.
Don't mind that. It's just a Z4 with a back.
It's a Z4 with a Z3 back on it. It's
terrible. That is terrible. Shocking behavior. Even liking it.
The front, cut the front off. If you cover the front and just look at the sort of from the door seam backwards, it looks alright.
It's just a. If you can cover half the car, like.
I don't know why there's literally half the car from the door seam onward. Like, is.
Well, you know what? To expose you, I'm having that as the intro of the Stick Drift
I will
podcast.
stand by it. It's not bad looking if you cut half the car off.
That is showing. Well, yeah, but then you just have a different car. Like
I'd put the M2 front in there. It might look alright.
The Z4 front, the newer, the M40i one, that one, whatever. That one's short. It's the older generation of Z4 that I don't like. The one that was in the crew before the M40. What is it, like Z?
I don't know what it's the first gen. I don't know what it's called, but
There's
pre-facelift.
There's like a Z3 or something, right? I saw one of those in
Yeah.
public recently.
I mean, this is based off the Z3M. So.
It's actually impressive how the crew manages to get, like, the worst versions of every car. Because this Z4, I don't hate either. It looks of its time.
Pretty
sure.
similar to the one in the crew. It's got the same side profile.
But you can tell the one in the crew because it's the most blatantly worst-looking version of the Z4.
It's got, like, the new one's front with the old one's body.
Exactly. They did the exact same thing with the Civic. They've got the older Civic. They don't have the old egg Civics, which look cool. They don't have the new, like, pinstripe Civic, which looks cool. Well, not even new now. Like, what, like 2015? The old Type Rs. They've got, like, an egg Civic with the pinstripe and really jagged. The ugliest generation.
I assume they go for cheapest licenses.
Yeah, which I guess is the ones that nobody wants.
The reason for that.
But yes, welcome to this week of the Stick Drift Podcast, where we have now watched Fast X. Not only that, but we have also gone and, well, we haven't. Forza has updated their game, and it's some big talk, big news. Is Forza back? Is Forza Game of the Year?
Forza adds new photo mode. Is Forza back?
Forza is 2023 IGN 10 out of 10. Tesla
Forza is photos.
Exactly. Tesla drops in reputableness, which we will talk about, which is very hilarious. Speaking of, Elon Musk is claiming that they're finally making the Cybertruck. What were they doing before then?
They were just looking at it before. They were the designers huddled around just thinking.
Took deposits and were like, it would be so funny if we made this, wouldn't it? We have gotten spy photos of a couple of different cars, Corvettes and Escalades, but EV Escalades. We've got word on Caterham, Ami buggies, and like I said, Fast X reviews.
On Caterham, like they're a mystical beast. They don't actually exist.
There's more like there was a like NSPCA, RS, RCH, SS, NS, NSI.
Where is this going?
What was the one that you mentioned that did a Mercedes or something?
Who?
You said there was someone who did a Mercedes. One of them is a Spotted While Spotted this episode.
Oh no, I compared their naming scheme to Mercedes because it's the C. Yeah.
Something exactly.
So they've got an A and a C. And it's
I don't
Mercedes.
remember what it was either. But yes.
That's Toyota.
Oh, there you go. Okay, yeah. That's coming up on this week's episode of the Stick Drift Podcast, a podcast for all things car culture, racing games, and motorsports, where, you know what? Screw it. We're gonna tangent more, because cars are boring, actually. This is now a cars up. This is the official hating cars podcast. Screw cars.
Yeah, as you got the Z4 on the screen.
It's officially exactly right. It's officially a boat podcast. What's up in boat news nowadays?
I'm sure the new boat brand's #1 boat is good.
Emails. Hiring boat suspected of Nord Stream attack came from you.
Whoa.
Okay, no, this is actually just like It's just like war
That
news.
is regular news,
It's just
yeah.
regular news, but happens to be like over some ocean at the time. And cutting in right after the intro. Maybe I'll replace the intro. I don't actually remember what the intro was, because that segment of the podcast that you may or may not have watched, I mean, if you didn't, welcome to the Stick Drift podcast, subscribe, whatever, you know the plugs we already do. But cutting in after that intro is like 2 weeks later. And to say that this episode of the podcast will end up being a maybe near 3-hour long deluxe episode, because, well, we filmed the review for Fast X and realized it was so long and drawn out and hilariously bad of a movie. We ended up recording for, like, what was it, like an hour? 45 minutes?
It was like 45 to an hour.
Just on Fast X. So that's going to be the final segment of this podcast. Then, right after recording that, I don't remember if it was the same... I might have been the same day. I want to say we recorded Fast X, then went to go watch Guardians of the Galaxy, and was supposed to record the rest of the podcast that day. I got home, right, and I'll briefly explain. I haven't talked about this on the main channel yet, but I fell violently ill, and I'll actually run through it a little bit, right? I've heard criticism that maybe screw the topics, make it an actual relatable podcast. Being ill, that's relatable, right?
That is very relatable.
So a couple months, I want to say like a month and a half, it might be even 2 months by now. I lost track of time, honestly. But I just noticed like a scar on the back of my right shoulder. Not like 2 inches in diameter. 1.5 inches in diameter. No scab, no nothing, just like a scar formed on the back of my right shoulder. It was slightly itchy sometimes, and I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I was like, can't be worrying about that right now. So I did the best thing I could do and ignored it. And then I ignored it some more. And then at about the 15th of last month, was it almost a month ago? It might have even been last month. Was it 15th of April? See, I don't remember.
The concept of time just doesn't exist.
Exactly.
I have no idea.
Around the 15th, I noticed like some weird like spots all over my body. It was like chest, stomach, and they weren't like pimples. They were like decent sized like pinches of skin, like pinkish pinches of skin. And I was like, oh, that looks bad, and did the best thing I could do and ignored it. I want to say, if something like that happens, go get checked immediately. Okay, don't be an idiot like me. Actually, go get checked for that. But I firmed it for a while. I was like, sure, I'll just leave it be. But then what ended up happening is, after watching Guardians of the Galaxy, I noticed that I had like a really bad headache while watching it. And it wasn't just because of how bad that movie fell off in the second half.
It might have just been that film,
Yeah.
to be honest.
But like, literally, it was the infinity gauntlet of illnesses. I wrote it all down because I had brain fog, so I couldn't process half the time. So I wanted to write it down so I didn't forget as soon as I was in there. Spots. No pain, sometimes itchy if interacted with, never actively. Scar-like circle on the back of my right shoulder. Brain fog, which is where, like, brain just goes funny and you just cannot process a single thing for a hot minute. Shortness of breath, I would just forget to breathe. I'd just be there, like, like,
That doesn't seem very
whoopsie.
genetically advantageous.
Bowels misbehaving, diarrhea, felt like food would run right through me, constant headaches, general brain ache, but direct headache pain in front of skull, just above and behind the eyes, as well as a bit of ringing in the ears, on top of everything else, nausea, disorientation, loss of balance, randomly, general fatigue and exhaustion more than usual. I went to do one weight lower on all I've forgotten the wording of it. It's been how long I've not been to the gym. On all reps, right? One weight lower on all reps and everything. And I was sweating like buckets off during this. Like complete exhaustion and like extreme heightened anxiety, general heightened out of the ordinary anxiety, and as I described it, with an odd impending feeling of doom, is how I described it. All of that, and I was just like, I might be a bit ill, but like, you know, it's too much stress
Maybe
to go and
slightly,
worry about.
you know.
Yeah.
Slightly.
And then, like I said, I found the date as well. It was the 28th. So, yeah, it probably was last month, 15th. And then the 28th, I was like... Well, I came back from Guardians of the Galaxy. We were going to record, but I called, like, 111, which is the UK's just, like, check-up medical, like, call line. I checked up with them, and I told them the symptoms, and then and as I swear to you, as I was about to message you and be like, we can record the podcast, I get a number. I'm like, oh, it's just gonna be another scam thing, because it was like no caller ID. I pick up, and they're like, yeah, so we're gonna need you to go into urgent care real quick. So, and it was like 8 p.m. by that time. I think I don't know, it was like 6. Because I messaged you when we were just about to. Yeah, you messaged record at 18:18, and it was around then that I got the call. Went there, waited 4 hours. Turns out I got myself guttate psoriasis. Well, I've never had a lung infection, so the only other way it's caused is a stress-based illness.
I don't know, you have been in London
True,
recently.
yeah. But I thought that was a myth. I thought getting ill from stress was just a thing people say, right? I thought it was like, yeah, I got ill from stress, but actually they just caught something while being stressed, right? My body, the human inefficiency that I got so stressed that apparently, like, I think the way the doctor described it was like the skin cells just decided to change over and just malfunction while doing so. Like,
Even your skin cells were stressing. That's how bad it was.
the human inefficiency for that to happen.
I mean, your body has always been on like 5 HP. Like, what was it like
It's always,
back in like 2018?
I'd get
ill.
like random, like stinging, sharp. Like I'd been like, I've never been stabbed, so I don't know. But like like a stabbing pain in my shoulder. Like my veins would like pulsate out of nowhere. I assume iron deficiency. I think that's the only thing that causes this. I'd passed out from getting up too quickly before. Like I'd gotten up too quickly and passed out.
You were like 48 kg at the time.
Yeah.
So.
I remember drinking water sometimes and actually be like, whoa, this feels good. Like, just, like every now and then getting a full glass of water just to chug the whole... I can't do that anymore. I drink like 3 liters a day
Your
now.
body was just reaching out for some water. It was pleading.
Exactly. It would be like if I held my breath for 5 minutes and then breathed again, is what drinking water felt like. Yeah, I'd like fully passed out. Like I remember someone came up to me and I got up quickly to meet them as they were going out. And then the next thing I remember, I'm on the floor next to my bed and they're halfway down the stairs. Like
They just left.
like yeah, because I assume I went to go sit back down. Oh, I don't know. I blacked out. I just like I've never been like blackout drunk. I've never like been hit unconscious. I blacked out from an iron deficiency. So body was always struggling. And then yeah, clearly everything just got to me because the body just decided
Making Crusoe videos pushed you over the edge.
Yeah. It just decided, oh, shut down time. Like what? It's insane that that's possible. It's crazy. It's wild. Truly, naivety. I'm also just holding my hands up to my fan right now because it, like, my hands are boiling. It's so hot in the UK right now. Like, I understand what it's like to be an American now, to be honest. Like, the naivety of just, like, in my head, I was like, yeah, that must not actually be a thing until it happened to me, right? Like, it's. Also, speaking of that, actually.
Well, I don't even know where this segue is going, but it could at least go to like 1 of 5. So
So yeah, so that's why there was no podcast. I've been really slacking on videos as well. The whole thing. But I'm just gonna be loading something real quick. I'm loading. Here
my
we
forehead
go.
is massive. Jesus.
So was this even to do with America? It might have been. I think
There's
it
gotta
was.
be a way to link it. There probably is somewhere.
No, it was about America. We got called out. Speaking of Americans, look, I hope.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I hope if
Pretty
there's
sure he
any.
blocked me.
Oh, I hope if there's any Americans watching, I hope you guys know I don't actually think every American is a hillbilly redneck pickup truck buying average 2 IQ gamer, right? Like, I make the same jokes about British people. I make the same jokes about it's whatever, right?
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
it's the
Like,
whole
it was that much of a nothing statement. I don't even remember what it was.
yeah. So
Like, I remember even reading his thing back. I have no idea what I said. So,
So I'm not gonna say the name, but we got a big call out. Oh God, that is a big call out.
yeah,
Oh Jesus, I didn't read
Yeah.
it. Oh
I
no.
did.
You know what? Seeming as this is a so because we missed those weeks, this is gonna be probably not gonna time code it. I might do the vague overall time codes just because it is gonna be so much. But this is a big deluxe episode of the Stick Drift podcast because of that. Because we've got the review, the Fast and Furious review. We've got the bloody goddamn Motorfest. I am going to be talking about Motorfest for the Monday release of this episode after the embargo for that information. Of course, thank you to Ubisoft. I was on there. This does come out after that, but you aren't under the NDA, and thus it's just me, so I'm going to be in that segment. So there will be a segment of no Josh for then Josh to return for Fast and Furious. But, right, this comment. I assume you're skimming through it while I'm waffling, so...
It makes no more sense to me now than it did 3 weeks ago.
So, we talked about, what I think it's about, is the last episode of the Strict Podcast...
That's what I still don't know what I said, like, is the issue. Like, I don't know like, you didn't time code it, so I don't know what...
I think we talked about something to do with...
It had to have been to do with EVs, and
It
what
was
would we talk...
EVs, and I think America's reluctance for EVs... And because I would have done a parody where I was like,
yeah, you know, I like
Margash Gosling for an
Yeah.
F-150, right? Like it must have been that, right? And I assume it was that, which then became this message right here.
And then just goes into US infrastructure, which sure.
Yeah, it's just funny that it was so much. Look, thank you for leaving the comment. I genuinely do appreciate it. It's great.
I would have appreciated if you didn't block me, but
Oh, well, let me actually... What's the gist of it? Because I don't want to read... And what's the funny bits of it?
I mean, there is no gist of it, really.
Because I don't want to bore the podcast
He's
viewers.
taken everything we said as fact of truth as if it wasn't sarcasm.
Yeah, I mean, that's the issue, right? At the end of the day, we're dumbasses, right? But also, like... It's American infrastructure, right? It's like,
You can see by, like, all he talks about is US infrastructure being subpar in the regions I assume he talks about.
I don't even think we talked about a region. We just talked about America as a whole. What is it? Is it just that it's not
I think
efficient to
we
have...
mentioned California at one point, which
Yeah.
I think he does mention. But
Is
he
the
was saying
point
how
that...
New York and California have blackouts because there's not enough electricity.
Yeah.
So I replied, sounds like a US infrastructure problem, sleeping emoji.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Signifying that it's a sarcastic comment.
How are you
Fine.
gonna be like the only countries whose currency is actually doing all right now?
I
and yet having
wouldn't say that.
blackouts?
We'll have blackouts next month because you said that now.
I mean, hey, but the pound's doing well, at least
It's
was.
doing quite good at the minute, yeah.
The rest of the UK in general is doing terrible right now. So I wouldn't be surprised.
And then he starts mentioning Cletus McFarlane, 1320, and Adam LZ for American culture. I don't think that's a completely inclusive list, but carry on.
Yeah. But, car meets, the biggest names, and it shows you don't follow. By the way, it was a paragraph. I'm not gonna, again, I don't want to show it because I don't want the guy to be harassed. It's
I
hilarious.
mean, fun fact, Cleese McFarlane was my second most watched YouTube channel behind SidWaj last year. So.
Oh, well, there you go, see? So you're not even, we're on the same side here.
I think it's the fact he took everything we said as we meant it, not as in...
It's just, yeah, look.
It was completely just waffle sarcasm.
This podcast is ran by two British people. Like, what do you expect other
like,
than
he
just,
even
like,
took
whatever?
my reply to him seriously, as if it wasn't...
That's the issue.
I just reverted to an Alfie comment after that, because, like, what'd you say?
We've been, what's it called? I mean, to no scale. But it's the goddamn, who was the guy? Muya. It's just, like, sarcasm doesn't come through.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you'd think it would when it was an audio and video podcast.
Yeah,
but...
like, you done an accent, like, I don't get how, like, unless you had a big sign on the screen that flashed neon.
When if I'm doing a parody accent, you can't, like, I'll do an impression of myself and go, oh, what's going on, boys? My name is SidWaj. Like,
Every other comment other than taking what we said as seriousness is just the definition of US infrastructure problem. There's no other words to it.
yeah, but also there was there a point on stereotyping?
Oh, apparently we're stereotyping as well.
Oh, stereotyping America. Look, I had the same thing with the Irish a while ago, and then I showed it to an Irishman, and because I think the guy who wrote the comment wasn't even Irish. Which one? If he was, Irish people are the last people to get angry at like stereotyping for one. So it's like it's ought to white knight them, right? But I do understand that you don't have to be Irish.
What was the
to be
American
upset about
stereotype
it, right?
that?
It was
just
I
you
said
going,
like something like you need a gas guzzling.
V8.
Yeah.
Which, when the lowest engine model on a minivan is like a 3-litre V6, you can't exactly say that's wrong.
But yeah, look, I get that. I get that you don't have to be part of a group to be upset about something against that group. But I wouldn't even call it against. Again, I showed it to an Irishman, and he laughed at it.
I don't think a single American would care.
Yeah. The Irishman story, completely separate thing. You know what? Do need to talk about more goofy personal stuff on the podcast, because, like, you know.
Going for a list of that.
Yeah, but yeah, that was interesting. It was an interesting comment that we got. Believe me, even though we didn't read it out, it may have sounded messy, but
I've never seen a worse take in my life.
you guys would have been 10 times more bored if we'd actually read the comment out.
As you know, I've seen F1 Twitter. Never mind, this is the second worst take I've seen in my life.
If you're going to do a podcast on car culture, at least be educated on car culture yourself first. I mean, I'd like to say half the point
Sounds
of
like
this...
he's educated on US infrastructure, to be honest.
I was going to say, half the point of this podcast is that I kind of know nothing. Like, the whole way I advertise
Oh,
the
he called
podcast-
you racist as well.
Oh, yeah. That's what I mean, right? The same thing happened-
That's the peak of the comment. It's saying you've done something racist. Then saying that US infrastructure bad because we can't charge our EVs. Which I don't even know what he was replying to. I assume I said something about EVs. And then he just starts listing YouTubers he likes, I assume. I don't know.
But like, it's so, because I remember the Irish one. The Irish one is coming to mind again, right? In the Irish one, it was like, I said something along the lines of, like, I literally just said,
You said, like, Irish drink
I was like,
something.
yeah, life so, all the time. I was like, and again, this was said by Jacksepticeye in an interview, a Irishman who described other Irish people like this. He said that, like, they have the culture of work 5 days a week, to drink on the weekends, to get through work the next week, to drink on the weekends, to get through work, to drink on the weekends. Like, and I was like, the simplicity of that is incredibly desirable. I don't want to have to make 50th video on Motorfest to metaphorically keep on the lights. Like, and then like a Reddit comment was like, I can't believe Sid is so racist. And I was just like, what? It was so.
I like how his average MPG for all American vehicles is 25.4, as if that's good, but yeah, sure.
Like, I say the same thing about British people, right? Is where, well, not the same thing, but I say the same type of things where I say, like I'll say, like, oh, British people just go about their days not bothered and just want to get through their day and are just, like, overly sarcastic and exhausted with everyone. Because that's what I'm British and that's what, like, whatever, man. If someone else said that, I can't imagine being like, why are you stereotyping the UK? Boo-hoo!
Nothing in my life could motivate me to write a comment this long. Like,
yeah, look,
how can you dedicate over 5 minutes of your life to something?
I don't want to dog on the guy. I don't want to dog on the guy.
I will.
I appreciate the comment.
He blocked me because I replied to him, sounds like a US infrastructure problem, sleeping emoji. What?
I appreciate the comment. But, like, I don't see the,
The fact to write all that and then block me is wild, though. Like, it didn't even want a discussion. He just wanted to vent, I guess, among us. He just wanted to vent for some unknown reason.
Yeah, but,
He's having a bad day.
you know what, but again, don't fret to leave a massive, dogging on us comment.
Type more text rules, just don't block me. It could be the most brain-dead comment of your life, and I'll still find it amusing.
Yeah, but on top of that, I suppose we can move on from there, and I guess I was gonna mention some stuff to do with Motorfest, but I guess we'll leave that for the segment where I just talk endlessly about Motorfest. From that, I suppose. I don't know where we go. What else has been happening? Again, it's there's so much going on, is the thing.
Where do you start?
Yeah. I mean, it says Forza update here, but I think that's just because of how long it's been since we filmed.
Forza update was just the camera mode, wasn't it? That's not exactly.
Oh, yeah, that. I was thinking it was still the Rallycross update is what I was thinking.
Did you manage to get yours to launch?
I did in the end, I did. And I went on it.
New camera mode good?
I didn't even end up trying it. I completely forgot.
Yeah.
I drove around on wheel and was like, this isn't fun, and then went off the game.
It sounds like the average Forza experience, to be honest.
Then I switched to controller, did a bit of drifting. I was like, sure. Forza's it's a game for someone who isn't me. It's a decent game. It's a good game, but it ain't for me.
That's most people, to be fair.
Yeah, but the next thing, I mean, again, it's a skim over segment because we're just waffling today. The next few things are some big things because I don't really remember where the articles for these are, but they're somewhere here. I've just got the jotted down list. I guess what we can talk about is Tesla. Because Tesla has done a big shat. One, they're claiming that I guess, good news and bad news for the average Tesla owner, I guess. Let me find the Cybertruck info first. There it is. Elon Musk says Cybertruck is finally coming. It could transform the EV market. So,
I saw a thing on Twitter, the most reliable news source on the planet.
Yeah.
That they're not going to be able to sell it in Europe. Like, leaked documents saying that the crash structure doesn't pass EU safety tests.
Huh.
You don't need to be the smartest person on the planet to figure out that stainless steel isn't a EU compliant crash structure, but.
Well, they've also taken...
I don't know why this is a shock to anyone. Like, look at it.
They've taken pre-orders for Europe as well as the issue, so I assume it's just going to be full refund, because it can't be much else. Like, so it was £100, well, not pre-order, right? Maybe it was a pre-order, I don't know. But yeah, this is from...
Reservation, I think it was.
Yeah. This is from Autoblog.
You're reserving the right to order it.
Yeah. But you know what? Considering that Elon has said that it's coming out, sorry, it's finally coming out, it's good to see that after Elon started, comedy isn't actually dead on Twitter. This is a vehicle that competes against everybody and anybody, said Ivan Derori. I don't know who that is.
I don't think Renault are really shaking in their boots seeing this, to be honest.
Is that what the article says? Does that say something?
Well, it said anyone and everyone, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, I guess,
I mean, can you think of a single manufacturer this competes with?
I don't even know what this article... You know what? What are car articles nowadays? Because, like, what
Well, you get one headline, then the poor writer's got to write an entire article based off it. They just go off the walls, I don't know.
Because Oh, I remember this. This was a banger. This was first week of the podcast. He has previously claimed that the Cybertruck will also be able to serve briefly as a boat. That's a classic right there. Oh, that's great, actually.
And if they never deny that claim going forward, right?
They're
and you
probably
buy one,
asking for a lawsuit.
are you
yeah.
entitled to a lawsuit because you bought it under the pretense of it could turn into a boat?
Like, how long till... I don't know how common someone drowning in a car is, actually. I have no idea, frankly. So, like, whatever, actually. If that was to happen, I'm sure the family could sue, right? For a lot of money. And I'm sure it would be settled out of court for an undisclosed amount of money, with Tesla admitting no wrongdoing. But, that was, the technically good news for Tesla. The more funny news following that was Tesla has plummeted 50 spots in reputable brand survey. It's at 62, 30 places below Ford.
I mean, it was... Why is Ford first, or is they just using Ford as an example?
This... Oh, wait. Okay, auto companies. I don't know if this is like a full list of brands, or if this is like... Okay, this is full brands. I don't think... Unless Costco make cars, this is... Apparently the most reputable brand in the world is Patagonia. I don't know what Patagonia do.
They make coats, don't they?
Do they?
The coats, like, if the coat don't combust, I'd call that reputable, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Oh no, I'm surprised there's like a coat hanger brand on there. Like,
Well,
I don't think I've ever seen a coat hanger that just doesn't work.
Stone Island's pretty reputable, you know. I'd
Yeah.
Toyota Motor Company is the 6th most reputable company, which is kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Tesla was up there, Apple's up there, Amazon, of course. The vehicle manufacturer list goes: at 6th was Toyota, at 13 was Honda, 16...
I would put them miles below that, but carry on.
16 was Subaru, 20...
What?
24 was BMW, which... Do they do much of anything? I mean, sure, right?
They make like 8 million cars all on the same platform.
I was gonna say, so many people buy them, and I assume 90% of those cars do start. So yeah, I guess they would be reputable,
I'm sure
right?
higher than 90%, but yeah.
I'd hope, you know, you'd hope.
Over your brand new car, you just don't start. Like.
Yeah. 32 is Ford. Then 34th is General Motors, so only 2 behind Ford. And this next one's hilarious, only because Tesla is below it, right? Tesla is 62nd. 56th is Volkswagen.
That's
To have a lower reputability rating than a company that has had one of the biggest company scandals of all time is truly impressive.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, dude, that's amazing, actually.
Tesla build quality is like notoriously bad. It's it's.
But interestingly enough, Chrysler Stellantis is at 67th, below Tesla and Volkswagen.
Stellantis, yeah.
Yeah, that sure.
I feel it is unfair to group them like that. Like, cause Stellantis is like Citroen, Peugeot, Lancia, Fiat.
Oh yeah.
Like it's a bit. A Fiat weighing that down, or is it just?
I want to see
all
who
of them
else
are bad.
Tesla is below. It's definitely an American survey. State Farm Insurance.
Well, I mean, Ford type, of course it is. It's their best-selling car in the US, I'm pretty sure, aren't they?
Dell, Pfizer. The fact that Toyota ranks above Ford in an
Toyota have a
American
really
survey.
good reputation in the US.
Yeah, like clearly.
The Corolla's like, I don't know, the indestructible car. You got the Hilux and all that. Yeah.
JP Morgan's just above Ford, and they seem to have had a bit of
Is that a bank?
I think so, and they seem to have gone up a little bit.
There's no way you'd find Santander in one of those lists in the UK.
I don't know what 3M is, but they're up here. UPS,
They make adhesive stuff like tape and
LG, Adidas,
nonsense.
Home Depot. Kellogg's is a higher reputability.
I would
than-
not put Kellogg's high on that list. Kellogg's and Nestle should be like somewhere near the bottom of every list known to mankind.
I assume that is
Like, is it not common knowledge that they are terrible companies?
Well, to be fair, they rank lower on products and services than they do on culture. Is where they rank the highest in the specific.
I do
ranking.
love depriving needy communities of water. That is very trustworthy.
Is that
Thank
what,
you, Nestle.
wait, am I getting the right Kellogg Company? Yeah. Is that what they do?
Oh, and Nestle do it. Kellogg's also do it to farmers, but yeah.
Netflix is 42nd. Like, is Netflix the highest streaming service outside of Cars at this point? But like,
We're just off on a tangent. I don't know. What's the highest fan company?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I get Amazon.com's on there, but I assume that's because of and Apple. But again, that's for different reasons.
Amazon would be like Prime Video, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but Netflix being the highest rated subscription service, given the whole Netflix situation the last year.
I don't know how these are weighted. How is this? Like,
So they're ranked on like different things first.
who votes? Ranks, how does...
Wait, sorry. Volkswagens, they're 56th. They're 34th in vision, right? They are then their lowest things are trust, character, trajectory, ethics.
What are Kellogg's and Nestle's ethics if they're up there? I am very intrigued to see what those are rated on.
This is, you know what? Someone asked for tangents. Here's your damn tangent.
I am very intrigued.
18th. They're 18th for ethics.
It's America, to be fair. They
19th
might
for
be a
trust. I don't know how, as Volkswagen, you get like so insanely low for trajectory, but so insanely high for vision. Surely, like.
I mean, they don't have any of the new ID models over there, I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah.
remove all the ID models from Volkswagen's lineup, and it actually hasn't changed in about 2 decades. So.
I'm trying to look for some more disparities. Ford is 16th in culture, 31st in products and services. Oh, and the real thing that brings Ford down to 32nd, the only one higher than 32nd, which is its overall score, 41 for trust. So notably lower than
Alfie would rate them quite low on trust, I'd imagine.
yeah, Google's up there. I want to see like a real. Yeah, Volkswagen Group has the most like outrageously low one. That's like that high. Yeah, the rest of them are all like clean at the top. Costco especially for some reason. Interesting thing, I guess. Oh, Toyota. Toyota is below 12 for everything. 11 character, 10 trajectory, 8 trust, 12 culture, 7 ethics, 10 citizenship, which is a ranking, apparently. 5...
It's not got his green card.
5 in vision, and they don't have a single that actually exists. EV.
It is an American list.
Exactly. 6 for growth, 11 for products and services. That was weirdly interesting to go through, to be fair. I don't know what it makes for podcast content, but that was really interesting to go through. Like, that's America, you know? I mean, the anti-America special. I love all the American viewers of the Stick Drift podcast.
It's a very American list, though. Like, Ford would be nowhere near top 20 in the UK. Like, it wouldn't even be top 40.
For like Fiesta, Focus, Transit, surely.
The Fiesta is called the Eco Boom for a reason. Like, it's not gotten that name for the fun of it.
Yeah, I guess.
Like,
oh, TikTok's 94th. Surprised it's that high, I guess.
yeah. What's it for ethics? 0.
Ethics 95th. It's out of 100 companies. 95th. So I assume, yeah, they gave a list of 100. Which might be the 100 biggest. I wouldn't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, they're like They've not got anything lower than 90. Even growth, sure. Like, if you're gonna give anyone growth, give TikTok growth. But sure. We know how TikTok is seen in America, which probably justified. But give me 1 sec. There we go.
When they single-handedly killed Huawei, which I find very amusing.
Oh yeah, I forget they did that.
Like, Huawei used to have a higher, what's it called? What's the word for it? Market share than Samsung. And then the US just wiped them off the face of the earth.
You used to have a Huawei, didn't you? Like,
Yeah, I had two. My monster has one, yeah.
You,
they
like,
used to be
ran
everywhere.
a Huawei.
Yeah, loads of people in school had Huawei's as well. Before they got shadow banned into oblivion.
Because it wasn't even that, like, they couldn't be sold in America. It was that they couldn't use American services, wasn't it?
Yeah, they got wiped. Google, YouTube, the Play Store were all just wiped off them. You couldn't use them anymore. I don't know what they got accused of. I think it was like installing, like, they got accused, I think, installing
Probably
spyware
spying,
and telecommunications equipment.
I mean, not like this is a car podcast or anything, but, like, to quickly touch on the whole TikTok thing, I don't know. They're banning TikTok, but am I crazy?
They won't.
Or
They've tried for like 10 years.
The thing is, they're not even banning it. They're banning it on devices of government government people. Sure,
which I think is a thing
like,
that's already enforced in
I was
the
gonna say,
UK.
that just makes sense, really, right?
Like, I wouldn't be allowed to install it on my work phone. I guarantee you that for a fact.
Like, that's the
Right
one...
hell if I did that.
Because the thing I say about... Because everyone's like, oh my god, they're tracking me, and oh my god,
your
they're
work
tracking me.
phone's for work. Why would
Yeah.
you install apps on your work phone?
I
It's
think
not
it
yours.
might be... It would be completely over it. I think it might be that they can't on their personal either, but I have not researched on it. But as far as I'm aware, it's just like government people can't. But the thing is that, like, people are like, oh, boo-hoo, they're tracking me. Everyone's tracking you. And you know why they're doing it? Not because they're gonna hunt you down and make you disappear, because they want to sell you the coffee table you just Googled, right? Because they want to sell you DLC for the game you've been playing recently. They want to advertise to you. Like, unless you're actually doing something nefarious, unless you're unironically breaking the law, at which point, like, well, obviously, it couldn't matter any less that they're tracking you, because
like,
they're
what
just
difference
tracking
does
you
it
to
make if
advertise.
it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah, like,
Twitter?
especially with when
'Cause
they
they
were
all
trying
do
to... Exactly, yeah, that's the thing. Everyone does it. One of the...
It's just
like,
bad when it's not America, apparently.
advertising and selling your, like, hey, this is an active email. We know this because they just made an account, right? To, like, a mass spam email company. Selling that information and advertising is it's like one of the main reasons TV, apps on the App Store, anything is free. Like, anything in the world being free.
If something is free, you've paid for it in data.
Exactly. Like, that's the cost that you pay, is you become a bulk digit of data. And again, if you're not doing anything nefarious, it just doesn't matter. Like,
Even if you are doing something nefarious, they don't care.
Well, they can't use it. They physically couldn't use it.
Yeah, it's
like,
counterintuitive. They can't sell you anything. They
the only place I see it make sense is if it was for, like, government warfare. At which point, I don't care. But, like, I can
even
understand.
on personal phones, you don't, like, unless you're on, like, a secret base. Then
Yeah.
sure.
Like,
But then why would you have your personal phone anyway? 'Cause at that point...
Exactly, right. Like, that's the one place I get it. If you're using a government device or anything device...
Like, I'm not exactly going to go install free Minecraft.exe on my work computer.
Yeah. Like, everything for that should be proprietary anyway. But, like, it's so weird if you're just an average person, right? And no government person's going to be watching the Stick Drift podcast, so... But,
you never know. I don't know.
True. Rishi Sunak watches it on his days off. Wait, I watched Philip DeFranco. I must know an American government name. Ted Cruz watches the Stick Drift podcast.
Everyone to go in US government. Ted Cruz is one of them, yeah.
And he endorses us. unless what he stands for is controversial, in which case
All
he
of them
doesn't
have said
endorse
something
us.
controversial at this point. I don't know.
Exactly, right? Like, I just...
Like, even Rishi Sunak, like, he wants to send people to Rwanda or something.
Yeah,
Like,
he's one of
who
those.
knows?
He's one of those ones. I mean, whatever. This is a car podcast. But
Everyone's bad. Everyone has bad opinions.
yeah.
Unless you watch and subscribe to the podcast.
Exactly. You know what? We'll probably just have it in the main podcast till then, but like, if we were to ever really waffle, like a massive tangent, it would absolutely be something to put in a bonus episode. So,
yeah,
we could allow tangents like these a lot more. If this wasn't like a extra big episode anyway, probably would have toned down the tangent a little bit. But tangents like these could absolutely watch the podcast. We'll get monetized, and bonus episodes would absolutely be a place where you could just listen to us like actually talk about just how dumb the world is half the time. But from that to
don't take anything seriously before someone's time to lie.
also that too, right?
Said America in the wrong tone, and now I don't know,
Yeah.
the state of. What's a
sure,
state?
I'm sure non-Americans.
The state of
would be-
Georgia is living now because we said
Exactly.
something that.
and the country of Georgia with them. they've
Yeah,
united to be mad at the Stick Drift podcast. But from that, Lamborghini has been in some goofy behavior recently because not only are they rumored to be making a EV sedan, Lamborghini's first EV is going to be a or was it like a I don't remember what was it, sedan? It was like a
Like a coupe or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's not going to be a sports car. It's not even going to be an SUV. Like, the Urus could have been an alright first EV, right? I don't know. But,
They're
well,
gonna
that's...
start making hatchbacks, so you've either got an SUV, a sedan.
I would back a Lamborghini hatchback. That would be brilliant. Imagine seeing that at a car meet.
yeah,
That would be great.
If they made a V10 hatchback, it'd be, yeah.
And make it reasonably priced so I can buy it. By reasonably priced,
Around £24,000 would be nice.
I was going to say £24, but that works too, I guess.
Yeah.
I can
Close
pay
enough.
it in £24 installments.
Yeah.
But Lamborghini is making a sedan that is going to be EV. Their first jump into EV cars is going to be such... It's so weird to do something so wildly out there.
The
You
Urus
reckon
was
it's-
wild when they released that, and everyone kind of just accepts that now.
Yeah, but the Urus
It's
was
just a Urus,
like...
but long.
Well, this is a concept, right? But
It will look like that, though, I imagine. It will
Yeah.
just be Urus-styled sedan.
But the thing is that, like, the Urus was just a type of car change, right? This is two things at once. It's their first EV and the type of car change. Alongside...
It's a tag drive, is what it is, because it's going
that
to
too.
lose them a ton of money.
In 2028, alongside it will be the successor to the Urus. Oh yeah, they're finishing the Urus, aren't they? Yeah, I think we talked about that on the podcast or something.
We did at some point. I don't remember talking about that.
A sleek 2+2 Grand Tourer.
Oh, it's like, you know, Audi TT or like RCZ seating where it has 4 seats.
Oh, but it's
They
like you'd
do
have to be an
exist,
amputee to
but
actually
you would have
sit.
to be,
Yeah.
quite amputee and about
like,
2
you'd have to be, like-
centimeters tall to be able to fit in
Yeah.
the back.
I mean, how long till they do a Jaguar? How long till they say, oh wait, we've actually tarnished our brand name. Wait. We need to go back to being expensive, please. Cause cause Jaguar's
This
just
will
done
be
that,
expensive.
right?
This will be at least 200 grand, I imagine.
I assume so, but like if it's an Audi TT, they should just make it a Z4 Re chassis. That's what they need to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we saw Jaguar recently be like, hey, by the way, whoopsie, we made too many sedans and SUVs. We actually forgot
They're
that
not going to
we're...
stop doing sedans and SUVs.
Are they not? Are they just doing
No,
the
they're
other
just
ones
going to
also?
price them like Bentley price.
Oh, yeah, I guess. And I assume they'll redesign all of them as well, ever so slightly.
That's giving them too much credit. I don't know if they'll do that.
It would only make sense, because, like
Like,
no
I don't
one's...
get their methodology. Oh, we're not. Sales
Jag?
are declining year on year. Jaguar,
Yeah.
but our sales are declining year on year. Let's make them more expensive.
Yeah, it's strange.
Like the average Jaguar owner in his 60s is not gonna spend £200,000 on a SUV.
I imagine they had like a movie script level board meeting where they were like, Jaguar has fallen. My father, Jonathan Jaguar the 7th, me being Jonathan Jaguar the 11th, he stood for the E-Type, which was apparently 4 generations ago. I mean, that might be accurate.
I don't know where this is going.
He stood for the E-Type, but now we make sedans. Jaguar will go back to what it stood for before. And in 50 years, it'll be played by Timothy Chalamet in that role or something.
Well, they're not going to Bangor. They're not making two-door sports cars. They're making SUVs.
Well, what? Rolls-Royce competitors. They're becoming like chauffeur cars.
They're not Rolls-Royce. They're going Bentley level. They're becoming
yeah. There'll be
stay-at-home soccer mum cars.
Chauffeur cars is the way I was looking at it, but yeah.
Well, no one's going to be chauffeured in a Bentley. No, that's not how that works.
Is that not how that works? I guess so. What do you get chauffeured
When
in,
was
actually?
the last time you saw somebody chauffeured in a Bentley?
I don't know when the last time I saw... Actually, no, I go to London. I've probably seen them, but just, like, not paid attention to them. I don't know when I've last seen a Bentley, though, honestly. But, yes.
You're not missing out on much. The Bentayga is horrible.
Yeah. I mean, the Rose is,
I have never seen one of those SUVs, the Rolls-Royce SUVs, and I'm thankful for it every day.
I think I must have seen one. But, the electric Rolls-Royce is pretty cool. We've talked about that on previous episodes of the Stick Drift podcast. See, when I say previous episodes of the Stick Drift podcast, if you continuously watch the podcast, you'd be like,
You'd be included in that.
I remember that episode, right? Crazy. Subscribe.
But they're not just taking Jaguar out of the market, they're taking Land Rover with them.
Are they?
Well, yeah, because the brand's not Jaguar or Land Rover. The brand is Jaguar Land Rover.
Mm-hmm.
Land Rover also going up back.
I mean, you know what? On a Stick Drift podcast episode, like 500, I guess we'll see how that played out, right? The issue with a car podcast is that everything we talk about, it's like every car or car story is like 1 year it'll be, oh, this is happening. 2 years later it'll be, this is happening this year. And then a year later it'll be, oh, so this is how this went. So, like, bear with us,
I mean,
right?
with Land Rover, it kind of makes sense because they had those, like, £180,000 of Evoques and stuff. But I don't see them getting rid of, like, the £25,000 Evoque because surely that's their bread and butter. Surely that's how they survive.
They might be having a midlife crisis. Like, they might be having an identity crisis where they're like, we can't be selling these anymore, right? Like, I assume they've made enough. I assume they've made money. I don't know about enough money. But I assume
considering they're closing half their dealerships, I don't think they're making too much money.
Oh, maybe this is their plan to make more money.
Yeah, close half the dealerships and make the cars more exclusive. That'll win over the customer.
I mean, maybe adjusted for inflation, they made more.
Adjusted for inflation, what? We're trying to get a business.
Yeah. Lamborghini segment gone into a goddamn Jaguar tangent. But,
I hope Jaguar go out of business. I do. I'm preying on their downfall.
Actually preying on Jaguar's downfall. Average Jaguar hater.
You see more INF paces than you do anything else, and they deserve what's coming.
Yeah, they're so generic as well, is the thing.
They're just such they have like a 1% market share. How? They should have 0.
Considering they also have like what's it called? Considering they also have considering they had the E-Type, the F-Type, right?
Jaguar survive on the Harley Davidson effect, where it's only older and older people who buy them because they had a Jaguar 40 years ago. In 30, 40 years, when there's no Jaguar owners left, they're just going to cease to exist because couldn't you think of anyone under the age of 40 who would even consider buying a Jaguar? Because the F-Type's gone. The F-Type's gone. That's no more. Just the sedan and SUV. Can you think of a single person under the age of 40 who would buy one?
You know what's scary as well? They haven't they haven't mentioned any replacement for the F-Type yet.
They won't. They won't. They want to go Bentley route.
Oh I guess
Grand
because they're
Taurus
going...
and SUVs.
Yeah, I guess so.
They're not going to make sports cars. They're not going to.
That might result in
they're alienating their only market they have left.
that might actually result in like top 1 fall-offs of all time.
What
But
it is.
speaking of top 1 fall-offs of all time, a company that is famous for the Eclipse, the Evo, a company that is famous for the Lancer, what else were they famous for? Air conditioning. The company.
I think that's a separate company that uses the same name, but yeah.
They're same logo, so I don't actually think it is.
Well, I suppose it's a Kawasaki where you got Kawasaki Motors and then Kawasaki Heavy Industries that are just the exact same logo, brand, market, and everything.
Oh, there's Yamaha as well. So
yeah. I suppose it's like one of those situations where it's the same company.
Yep.
But it's so detached, it just shares brand, logo, and image.
I mean, Yamaha is cool because their logo is all 3 things, right? Like that's like the instruments, motorcycle, and sailboat. Is that what they do? Sailboats?
They do sailboat. I know they do quad bikes, but I don't know how that's in the logo.
They do one other thing. I assume not the quad bikes. That's completely like that's way too like it's like a one-off thing. But what's it called? Yes, but from the company that brought you the Mitsubishi Lancer, the company that brought you the Evo, the many rallycross cars. They brought some other cool stuff as well. What's a cool Mitsubishi thing?
They've never been popular in the UK, so I can't actually picture a single one.
The FTO, the company that brought you
real hype.
The company that brought you the FTO. We get a company that very recently pulled out of the UK because it had less than 1% market share and wasn't selling any cars. From top 1 fall-offs of all time, we have the Mitsubishi Colt, which for audio listeners, imagine a Renault Megane,
Clio.
A Renault Clio.
It's the 2024 Renault Clio with a front grille.
I was gonna say a 2024 Renault Clio, or whatever you said was a 2024, 2020 what?
It's the next Renault Clio, the one that was announced recently.
Yeah. That with a Mitsubishi badge is what the
front grille
is.
is slightly different.
Is it slightly different?
Yeah.
You know what? Kudos to them, you know.
I think they've kept the OEM Renault wheels as well, which is wild.
It's EV. Is the next Renault EV?
It's Renault trickery.
Oh.
It's the E-Tech.
Yeah.
It's hybrid. It says EV. And then it says hybrid. You see the little line above the EV. It says EV hybrid.
EV. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
They're really appealing to the environmentalists for this one. But
the Mitsubishi is impressive. There needs to be a case study. To turn the Eclipse into an SUV, and then now just be a Renault rebadge company.
One of the engine options for this car is a 68 horsepower 3-cylinder. With a 17.1 seconds 0 to 60. 17 point. It's closer to 20 seconds 0 to 60.
I could probably reach that quicker on my bicycle, I reckon.
You actually probably could.
I don't know. Give me a downhill, and I could get to 60 before that, which is kind of funny.
I don't.
Oh dear.
Who is this for?
And then also like burn off my brakes, but like you say
sell
that.
The Renault. The Renault's a better car.
Rebadge companies are a thing, though, right? That do sell cars, like Lancia.
They are very, very, very rarely sold side by side.
What do you mean?
Like, all the America's Buicks are just 3-year-old Vauxhalls, and
are they just like a reputation?
One of the older Vauxhall Veras was Chevy Spark and stuff like that. Like the Vauxhall VX220 is a Saturn, some American though. But yeah, but they're never sold side by side. This will be on sale next to a Renault in a showroom.
Yeah. But what, as in this will be sold like with the
next
Renault?
To Renaults. Yeah, next to Renaults.
It's just like it's such a grotesque fall off, and then
Mitsubishi don't have brand image anymore.
Yeah.
They are known for having bad engines.
They weren't even on the top 100 most reputable American brands. Like, come on now. Or were they? I don't know if they came under someone who was.
They don't make good cars.
Who actually, what's their overall numbers?
This is made on the same line as well. It's made on the Renault production line. It's just a Renault. with a Mitsubishi badge on it. It's actually insane.
Are they publicly traded? I want to know how's Mitsubishi been doing overall as a brand? Because like,
I think they're majority owned by Renault now, which says a lot.
so they're just like a miscellaneous.
Or they're very,
like,
very close to being owned by.
yeah. It's kind of really sad. It's
But like Nissan do the same, right? The Micra is a Clio,
yeah.
but it's different. It's not just we'll stick some badges on it and just sell it. They actually put different body panels on it. This is just. I think it'll be fine if this was like the US, because they don't get Renault in the US.
Yeah.
If this was the US's version of Renault.
Oh, do they not? Damn, they're missing out.
Of course,
Okay.
they don't get anything free. I don't think they get Fiat anymore. They don't get Fiat. I don't even think they get Suzuki anymore either. Fiat, Suzuki, that's Japanese though. Renault, Citroen, Peugeot. So, yeah, I mean, but it's just a worse. It's just a worse Clio.
But yeah, Mitsubishi. Poor.
Show the other one that I sent you yesterday, the white one.
I'll give it a look. I'll look at it now. But I just like it's really sad. Like it's really sad.
Reply to it.
That
like that is diabolical. I don't get how they've got. You can see the wheels are the same.
It won't let me open original, but
nice.
It just won't let me. Yeah.
Yikes! They haven't even changed the OEM wheels.
There you go.
It's like it just rolls off the production line, and they've stuck a badge on it.
You mentioned that I guess is it? Like, it's like one bit of the front grille is different. Like, literally, it is the badge, and then it's like this line of metal instead
and some
goes
stuff's
down.
chrome, and some stuff isn't on the other one. Like, they swap around what's chrome and what isn't. They have the same car. It's the same car.
Like, for the audio listeners, it's already been said, it's just the exact same car. Like, it's the same car. It's so sad.
Like, they're sold they're sold side by side as well.
Yeah.
Because Mitsubishi don't have their own dealerships anymore because they're actually that broke. They use Renault dealerships.
Oh, my alarm's going off.
Nice.
Go grab that.
Like, imagine you walk into a Renault dealership and you've got the bits of I don't even know what it's called. The ASX, the Mitsubishi ASX, and the Renault Captur side by side. Why would you buy the Mitsubishi? It's just.
Imagine, I like thinking about the fact that they did the Lancer and all of the other cars that people really like. It's really sad that they're now just a company under Renault that rebadges Reynolds. Same with probably Lancia as well. Like, imagine being like one of the guys who like started or was one of the first people high up at any of these companies. I can't imagine seeing. It's like being a YouTuber, having your channel bought, and now it's just like a default brand channel for some other company. I was just saying that it would just be so sad to imagine like being one of the first people working at Mitsubishi or any of these companies, and now seeing what that name has become, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, there's a load of brands like that.
Yeah.
Vauxhall is just, it's Opel.
Yeah. I just,
Yeah.
Oh well, I guess. Oh well. But from that, there's a few other things like spy photos that we will skim over. A bunch of spy photos. So spotted while spotted. The segment where we run through all of the cars that have been spotted in the spotted liveries that hide the curvature and the upcoming car releases. First on the list is the Ram Rampage, which is cardboarded up.
Are you starting from the middle or something?
I'm starting from the bottom. Now we're here.
Okay.
But the Ram Rampage, which one
I like
is
how they
massive.
put it on the wheels as well. Like,
Yeah.
I can't tell what those are going to look like.
Two, what is this to test? Because it's like, this must just be for, like...
Powertrain, I'd assume?
I wouldn't know, but, like, what is this testing that couldn't be done on, like, an actual test grounds, though, surely? Because they've put cardboard on it, so it's not, like, I don't know, aerodynamics, not that this car has that. It must just
be testing, like, range or something, I don't know.
I guess, yeah, couldn't do, like, 50 laps of a track, but, if it would make 50 laps of a track. Oh, the new Alpine. This isn't a spotted while spotted. Not as good as I thought it would have been. Alpine, same thing. You know what? Same thing, actually. I
It's
want
got
the
fully carbon fiber wheels there, a blue outline. Like that's cool.
I guess, yeah. It's not exactly the renders though.
Cost
Uh,
120 grand. I take that back.
open. Why is open image not working? See, now it's not
Your
working at
PC.
all. From Car Magazine, we have the BMW M5, the plug-in hybrid G90, a Super
I
Saloon.
don't know how people are gonna feel about a plug-in hybrid M5.
How do regular hybrids work?
It's just a smaller battery than a plug-in hybrid.
Uh,
Like you
then
have to charge it like an EV.
yeah.
Like the only way you can charge it is by plugging it into a wall.
Oh. But
It's
then I
an
assume you
EV with
also
a
have to
petrol
fuel
engine.
it? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's none of the advantages with all the disadvantages. I don't get it. It's all
But,
it does is cheat EU emission standards because you can claim like 90 mpg because you can run it just off the electric motor for 50 miles.
yeah, well, that's the fun of it. So, then we have the Mercedes from. I can't get rid of the ad blocker thing, which I can't actually turn off because it's
The Mercedes
built in.
CLE.
Yeah, the Mercedes CLE, named for the upcoming successor to its existing C class and E class. What's so
You
they've
get it because
combined
it's
them?
C and E
C
class.
LE, yeah, and C Land E class. But then we've also got Range Rover Evoque.
It actually just looks like an Evoque. Like, what have they done?
I saw a trailer or something for it, and it was like wildly expensive. Like,
But like, looking at the side profile, how do you tell the difference between £25,000 and £125,000 Evoque?
we looked at that, right? Like, we looked at that years ago now, where we looked at the two
It's such an
highest
odd
and lowest
dynamic.
ranges of we looked at the two highest and lowest ranges of Range Rovers, no pun intended, I guess, but we looked at that, and actively the cheaper one looked 10 times better than the most expensive
Like,
one.
I think that's how they make their money. It's like, oh, this is a £150,000 car, but look, you, the commoner, could afford
can
one,
buy the 20,000
and
one
it
or
looks
whatever.
exactly the same because it's
Yeah.
like, whoa, you want to look rich?
It's like, yeah, Range Rover definitely still has the, like, name. They're like, look, it's a Range Rover, look! Mum's come to do my white mother's come to do the
Yes.
school run in her Range Rover.
Yeah, yeah.
We've then also got the Ferrari, which is just
I mean,
a
this has been
Lotus.
revealed like 5 times. Like, it looks goofy every time we see it.
And it still won't let me show it. So, but yes, it's just like it's like
It's
a really
like a
flat Lotus.
track-focused Lotus, but
Yeah.
it's gonna cost 10 times as much.
I was gonna say, it looks like one of the more, like, track-style Ferraris, rather than, like, instead of, like, a Pista, it looks more like a FXXK, right? Is it actually
Crew
gonna
2
be...
fitment on the front.
Is it actually gonna be sold, like, to people? I assume.
I imagine it's gonna be one of those ultra exclusive, like, you have to spend 4 million at Ferrari beforehand and do a backflip in the southwest hall of the Ferrari office to get one.
And also have bought, like, 50,000, like, other Ferraris.
You have to own these 3 Ferraris and have them in the specific order in your
Yeah.
garage and you have to get it inspected before you can order one.
Exactly, yeah.
There's a yellow Golf R.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. New stuff includes stuff like the Golf R. What else is there new?
£65,000 for a Golf. That Fiat, the 2023 Fiat Tipulio, just above the Golf.
I wouldn't know.
It's a Citroen Ami, but it's got like rope for the doors, like like a nightclub.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I hope I can find it.
I don't know how the Citroen have sold enough Amis for Fiat to go, we need one of those.
Yeah.
Where are they selling them to?
From Autocar.
Oh, that's a different one to what I was looking at, but yeah.
Yeah. But it's just it's comical. Then we've also got new Caterham, but back to Spotted while Spotted. We've had a sight of a Volvo EX30, which is a Volvo hatchback, which I didn't know was a thing. Like, that's a thing, a Volvo hatchback.
Where is this Volvo EX30?
It's there. It's kind of cool. Speaking, I can't tell what it looks like, but the headlights remind me of some hatchback that already exists. Which, to be fair, I think what it
Oh,
reminds
it's
me
an
of.
SUV. No, these are absolutely massive in person.
Oh,
You
is
can
it?
see from the rear how tall it is.
I guess, yeah. To be fair, I mean, sure, maybe. Oh yeah, I see the woman next to it actually.
Well, she's
Um,
miles behind it. It's absolutely massive, the thing
yeah.
is.
But then we've also got the new Vauxhall Courses EV. Okay.
They had an EV1 last gen.
Oh, did they? Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't notice any. But
That's
sure,
because
Vauxhall
they done a
Corsa.
Golf where it was literally just a
It was the
Corsa
same
with
thing, yeah.
yeah.
But I guess this way it's actually like, is it going to be all ones at EV this time, or?
No, I think they're still going to offer the 3-cylinder.
Well, the design is exactly what it was going to be. It's just
This is a good example of rebadge engineering. It's a Peugeot E208,
oh, is it? I didn't know that.
but it actually looks different enough.
Yeah.
Mitsubishi.
But what's it called? It is. What was it? Peugeot 3?
E208 or 28. I don't know what they could, but the electric version of 28. It's the like same chassis, same
Oh,
roof
not
crash
like
structure.
it's still got the new front bumper though. Like it's still got the brand like front bumper, right?
Yeah.
Which is basically
all the crash structure is the same, but it's got different bumpers on it.
yeah, it's the exact same as the other two courses, not courses, Volkswagens. Mokka's one of them, and then there's the Astra. It's essentially exactly like those two, which is a really weird thing that's happened, where those three are just like different sizes of the same car.
Yeah.
Like it's strange, is what it is, visually.
Yeah.
Back on Lamborghini news a little bit, but Lamborghini has been spotted, with
It's just
a
a
Urus that is hybrid. It's just a normal Urus, but get this.
It's just a normal Urus, but it's got a small battery in it for the last 5 miles.
But it's hybrid.
Ooh.
And the rims are bad, but the rest of the car is pretty much just a Urus. We're gonna have to see. I mean, the Revuelto, did that look much like it did in the renders?
Yeah.
I forget what the CarWow render looked like, because I feel like it looked bad. CarWow Revuelto. God, I searched CarWow render by mistake, and I forget they do this all the time.
Yeah, they probably pump out like 3 a day.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like crazy off, but it definitely was off by foot, but for sure. But yes, to be fair, we could quickly talk about Forza, and then I guess jump to the Motorfest segment of the podcast, where it's just going to be me for a bit, and then it's going to be a full review of the Fast X for the average stick drift podcast fan.
I guess Motorsport Monday's disappeared.
I mean, is there motorsport stuff we can talk about?
I mean, there's only been 2 races since last episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, we like haven't had Motorfest news for like motorsports news for like 4 weeks, really, including podcast episode days, and then like still only 2 races. In fact, we'll do gaming after, because I need the toilet really bad. So you can talk about the motorsports really quick. I'll be right back.
I don't even know when these races were, to be honest. Monaco was. Who knows when Monaco was, but it was where is all I remember. And Albon put it in the wall like an absolute AI. Albon crashing through practice 1 or 2, don't remember. Perez crashing quali. And the race results were Verstappen, Alonso, Ocon, which Ocon getting the podium was interesting, at least. But I don't think we're going to see another non-top 3 team podium the rest of the season. But what we also got from Monaco was all of the flaws being shown, which only went to prove how far behind Williams are when theirs got shown in Spain, I think it was, when Sargent's car was being lifted up after he put it in the wall, as he has a habit of doing. But it just shows how far behind Williams are aerodynamically. Like, I think it's this season most of the errors generated by the floor. And to have a floor that outdated, it's surprising they're as close to the back of the field as they are, really. James Vow's only been there 6 months, I think. He's around there. Like what joined just before the start of the season, so just over 6 months. He needs to turn the team around because I don't get how this floor. Like I get it's a bad angle. It doesn't show the full picture, but like you can clearly see comparing it to the Mercedes, not even the Red Bull floor, the Mercedes floor, how bare. It's just barren under there. It's just two tunnels. It's yeah, poor design. And then it was probably last week we had the Spain Grand Prix, but it was, I mean, Willie was well last, so I was just tuned out most of the time, to be fair. But it was Max Hamilton and Russell because I don't know, Aston Martin would just had no pace that race for some reason. Well, it was just the last 5 laps I don't think I even watched, to be honest. It was quite a boring race. And what I think the next race is schedule. Correctly. Next race is Canada, which I think Aston Martin are bringing upgrades for. I think Alonso said this their last time they'll not be on the podium. Which watch him not be on the podium in Canada, which would be amusing. But yeah, I mean 18th. Is that next week? Yeah, it's next week. Next weekend we get the Canadian Grand Prix. Which, I mean, Max is going to win unless his car does 8 front flips during the race and just evaporates. Perez will get second unless his car does 8 front flips and evaporates. And if Alonso is telling the truth about these upgrades, Alonso will get third. Such a very interesting and engaging F1 season. And for all 4 people who care about MotoGP... No, never mind. I can't remember actually. I mean, there were 3 Ducati. Bagnaia got first in the sprint race this morning. This morning being Saturday the 10th. I mean, the rest of the podium was Ducatis. I didn't pay much attention because it was quite a boring race, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, 8 Ducatis on the grid is great. It's great. Really enjoyable. I can't wait for there to be 10 next season.
Stepping back into my room is painful. I'm having a cold shower.
Yeah, minus 30.1 degrees now.
Jesus Christ. Okay, this is terrible.
I mean, I've riled off my results.
Yep, and in gaming, there's not been a lot. Unbound actually announced their next update. Volume 3 has been revealed. No, it hasn't. That's a lie. It's been announced. They showed a little animation for it on top of that. TDU is still not doing anything. Motorfest should have gotten some massive information, which we'll talk about right now. We'll switch to me talking about it in a minute. On top of that, we've had, pardon me, Forza got their update a while ago. They got the Hummer EV. They got a bunch of other cool stuff. Hummer EV. What else?
Not a lot.
A couple more SUVs and improved photo mode where they can finally actually change the time of day as well as the weather. I don't know if it extended that far though, but they can change the time of day as well as place their character outside the car in a cool pose, which is like, sure, right? I think they made it a bit more simple as well. Again, I went on Forza, but just sort of didn't end up going on that.
Forgot to play the new thing.
Didn't even, like, I was just kind of going on it to drive on wheel until I realized, oh, never mind, actually, this is bad.
It doesn't make a great game for that, to be fair.
No, not at all, really. But I guess that would be about it from us, but not about it from us. So
what?
I mean, you know what? Consider. I think we already did an outro in the Fast and Furious segment of the episode, so we'll go to me talking about Motorfest for like an amount of time straight. Probably the point of time you guys already joined to skip to.
Oh, and, my camera has committed. That wasn't
well,
me.
You know what? Perfect timing. Probably overheated, I would assume. But that's going to be about it from us. Not an outro. Over to the Motorfest segment and into the Fast and Furious review after that. Enjoy. So, this is the segment of the podcast where it's just me. Oh my god, a solo episode of the podcast? Well, not really. It's part of the big deluxe episode of the Stick Drift podcast. Haven't really thought of a name for this episode yet. It'll probably get a name at some point, right? But I'm going to talk about Motorfest, talk about it pretty in depth here, right? In fact, if to find anywhere where I'm going to, in one place, talk in depth about all of the footage, it'll be here. It'll be right here, right now. So, Motorfest. For the audio listeners, don't worry, I will describe it. For the video viewers, I guess I'll have the SidWaj video, which on SidWaj is where it's just gonna be the raw gameplay of the thing, and I watermarked it too. It says sub to SidWaj on it because it needed a watermark, obviously. So let me add not a folder. Let me actually put it on screen for the video viewers. But yes, we begin Motorfest, the beginning of the new game, which is just simply crazy. The beginning of the brand new game starts with 2 helicopters. Helicopters already being something that was brand new to... Oh, okay, this is very, like, doing it on the fly, so yes, that was very worryingly big. And I guess for the podcast, it's always in the center, right? So I guess I'll put it in the center. Again, this is a podcast, so it's you're not going to be really focusing on actually looking at the footage. So we begin with the two. We begin with the intro. The intro starts us off with some helicopters flying into Hawaii, then some drift cars instantly showing us the BMW, the Skyline, the cars from the Crew 2, which, by the way, by now should be confirmed. It should be... the release date should be confirmed, I believe 14th of September, if I'm not mistaken, as well as what also should be confirmed is that there's going to be car carryover. So every single car from the Crew 2 carrying over a garage transfer, that's the one, which essentially confirms every single car from the Crew 2, because they'd all carry over. You see the RX-7, so I assume we're at the back, and then the front, and then the back of the RX-7. And we see that that's being watched on the helicopter, and from that we then go to some rally raid cars, which we see I forget what they're called, 4x4s, caddies. I forget what they're called. Well, we see some street cars, the Bronco, the Grand Tour, the Grand Sport, sorry, a few cars like that. The Diablo, the Diablo and Shelby GT500, which I feel like I recognize that pairing, but I might be wrong there. We've got I don't know if I wouldn't know brands. I wouldn't know the brands of this, but a custom thing. Then we go to the hypercars where we see the Cyan, which crazy stuff. Cyan doesn't actually seem to be the main new Lamborghini of this whole thing, which you will definitely see. Got the helicopter going over some pro racing, showing that, yeah, it's going to have the same sort of, like, different sections of racing thing. We got a new Porsche with the 720S, as well as another new Porsche, which is an old Porsche. The Supra is the first shot. Is there? I didn't actually realize that. I'm just blind. Oh, no, yeah, no, there it is. You can definitely see that. Corvette, Cobra, a couple other things. We get to the festival grounds, which are crazy big. Then we get to the, like, actual intro gameplay where I played. By the way, we also see the S2000, the Red Panther S2000. So it is like it is actually gonna it's gonna. Oh, that's me talking. Summit cars are also carrying over, right? So that's pretty cool. There it is. We then switch over to we see the Toyota Tacoma, some flashes. We see the Bolide, which is crazy, and then we see me racing in the Toyota Supra. Yes, I pelt about in the Supra, in the JDM section of this. We then also see like a bit of a we see like a segment where it stops and it shows the different things that are going to be in the playlists, right? Because we've got playlists for the story, because Forza, I guess. I don't know if it's playlist, whatever. But yeah, we see RX-7, we see a Honda, No, sorry, an Acura NSX. We see the old school Acura NSX. Again, a very asked for car that we're finally getting in the Crew 2. Not to mention the Supra, right? We see RX-7s, we see the NSX, something else, I assume. More NSX Skyline, RX-7, Drag confirmed to be returning, a Drag Skyline. And then we go to Off-Road, where we see, again, a bunch of new cars. The Bronco, by the way, the game is beautiful. The game is gorgeous. Playing it felt very, very nice. The handling is so improved. It's crazy. Like, to compare the two, I know people normally complain with the Crew 2. They say the cars are go-karts, right? There's unlimited grip, downforce, whatever, right? Well, whatever. But something to do with gripping. I understand that now. Look, I was never really into racing games that much. I played Driver San Francisco, a couple other things. Never, like, proper sim racing or anything, right? I don't drive either. So the Crew 2's handling, for what it was, right, it was never going to be sim, but for what it actually was, it was actually really enjoyable. This game completely changes that whole status quo, and I would say is better. You actually brake, you actually turn, cars understeer, oversteer, you actually, like, have to turn a car into a turn, right? We got the Bronco, of course, we got the Hummer EV, the Jeep Rubicon, so many new licenses. To Tacoma, not even to mention the Toyota. Well, I did just mention the Toyota Tacoma, but that there too, right? It's crazy just how much new stuff there is. We see the different colored festival assets for off-road, a big jump. We see the off-road physics. God, the lighting is amazing. The first person looks so good. I really like the first person. Then we've got, of course, some more sliding. It was a really satisfying slide that I managed to do in the Bronco. It was like I was spinning out, but not. I don't know. It was a really satisfying slide, frankly. We jump off the big fall, and then we switch to, again, the same type of shot where we see a bunch of stuff. This time around, nothing too crazy. We see the return of the Hoodlum Beetle. We see the quad bike, I guess, right? I mean, that's something. We see the Jeep Rubicon. Again, more quads with motocross bikes. I hope it is in motocross. Or not its own spec, right? We only see one quad in this, to be fair. Then we switch over to pro racing. We've got a brand new concept car, which, also, pro racing, no nitro, and tire wear, which is two very wild and wacky things. That's a bit more thought than I thought would have gone into the Crew 2. Yeah, we see no nitro, and we see tire wear for pro racing, or the motorsports, right? It's quite cool. It's quite cool that we have that thought into, right? You even have to go into the pits, get your tires changed, and then continue on. It's not crazy in depth, right? You don't choose softs or whatever, right? You don't choose the specific compound of the tires or anything like that. You just have a meter that is your tire wear, which notably made the car a bit more slidey. And then you have to go in and you change your tires and restore that grip. And the grip goes down slowly as you're going through the race. I couldn't really, like, looking at the footage right now, I don't know if it's more when I turn or more when I'm straight. I'm not too sure. Then we see in the flashing section of this intro, we see some interesting stuff. Because we see the Bugatti Bolide, we see the Senna GTR, and we see the Lamborghini Essenza. So three. Oh, we see the Acura NSX, which is in the Crew 2, of course. We see Red Bull RB18, which is new to the Crew. Yeah, there you go. We see the Senna GTR and the Lamborghini Essenza. We get a glimpse at the Bolide at some point as well, I believe. There it is. It's in front of a Nissan GTR. Is the Bolide in touring? Ew. Then we jump to classic cars, where we have the Cobra, and the rest of the cars here are all Crew 2 cars, except for, actually, I don't know, I think one of the Porsches is new, but the rest of it's the Eldorado, it's the most expensive car in the world, the Uhlenhort Mercedes. Well, a long story. I've got a video on why it's the most expensive car in the world. This one's fun. It's got a custom speedometer, which is of its time, as well as no NOS, no nav, right? No mini-map, which is obviously the navigation. because those are things that these cars wouldn't have. You know, that's an interesting way of going about it for the classic events. You know, I like it. I like it. It's unique. They actually thought about it. We see again, the flashing of this one. Not anything crazy new in this one. We see some combis. We see a Fair Lady Z in Rallycross. Touring. We see the Meta one in Need for Speed and a different Ferrari. And the Ferrari F40. We see Mustang Boss. And then we have the biggest stuff that I've noticed. Yes, we have Lamborghini with the Lamborghini Revuelto, which if you've been watching the Strict Drift podcast, you know that car hasn't been out for a very long time. It hasn't at all. It's barely been out for I feel, actually, wait. When did it reveal? I can actually check on the podcast when this revealed, because it was very, very recently. We talked about it. We saw it announced, and then we saw it we saw it spotted, and then we saw it actually be revealed. It was 2 months ago. It's only been 2 months that this car's even been revealed, yet it's here now. So I wonder, was it supposed to be this car instead of the Cyan in the trailer? Because, of course, in the trailer we saw the Lamborghini Cyan. It's cool that we've seen both of those two new Lamborghinis. The Revuelto only being 2 months old. Like, what? That's crazy. Also, looks beautiful, looks amazing from the front. It's growing on me. Look, driving it in Motorfest has made the Revuelto really, really grow on me. I like it now, okay? It's fine as an Aventador replacement now that I'm looking at it in the Crew Motorfest. It's like, it's Aventador length with Hurricane front bumper and like a fairly interesting rear, okay? Look, I like the Revuelto. Other Lamborghinis, we just see the Cyan, we see the Countach, the new one, the usual hypercar Lamborghinis, the Performante, the Aventador. It's the usual mess of Lamborghinis and hypercar. Notable ones though being the Cyan and the Revuelto, which there is another Revuelto. It's yellow, and is that a white one? No, it's Countach. Another yellow Revuelto. Sweet. And then we get to the end where we have some more flashes. We see the Miura. We see a couple of Lamborghinis. We see the Urus. And I maybe, yeah, there we go. The Ascenzas again, with a bunch of different touring ones. We then get a cutscene where I believe we get a glimpse of the GR Supra. Yep, it's driving away with the Pulse Edition touring and the Urus, which is an interesting trio to be driving away. The Urus, the Pulse Performance Edition touring RSR, and then we got the Shirogane. We then skip to the first event of the JDM playlist, which I managed to play. We see the Honda NSX. The lighting is so crazy good. Like, the headlights actually are bright, and they're actually headlights. The city looks nice. We've got the racing landscapes, look amazing. We've got the big dragons in the sky. And the Acura NSX. Very nice, the old one. And a bit of the improved wheel turning as well. If you don't know, the wheel rotation in the Crew 2 and in many racing games, rather hilariously bad. They'll just barely ever turn their wheel. In this game, they actually turn it. It's like Drive San Francisco turning. Like, it'll turn, and then you turn too much, and it does the, another rotation. Crazy that they're even bothering, but, like, damn. Very nice stuff to see. We do that race. It's got the Japanese architecture. We go through a pitch black, foresty area. And again, the lights and the headlights just amazing for that area. We finish that and then go to the final event of the JDM playlist, which follows the Supra. The Toyota Supra, highly customized Toyota Supra with a couple other cars, just like the 370Z, the Mitsubishi Lancer, which, damn, Mitsubishi, quite sad this episode, right? Rest in peace, Mitsubishi. We got the RX-7, the MX-5, the High Octane Edition, which then also the High Octane Edition being the Skyline, and again, a more neon look at Honolulu. Essentially, like a, whoa, look, definitely Tokyo. I swear it's Tokyo. Look, it's Tokyo. Here, the handling, very fun again. And then finally, I managed to snag myself, because I was absolutely speedrunning, I managed to snag myself some extra time to do well, not extra time, I had time left over to do the Lamborghini Revuelto. the final event of the Lamborghini playlist, which is like a big pelt. It's a big pelt road. You zoom down one long road. The Revuelto, there's a Veneno, there's a Countach again, Aventador, another Revuelto. I think it's like green in this one, or maybe blue, but the Revuelto you're in is orange. Again, the handling, the engine sounds. For the audio listeners, I'll play some of the engine sounds right now, actually. Let me put it here, and I'll let you guys listen to some of the engine sounds. It's masked a little bit with the music and whatnot, which is unfortunate, but beautiful game, tell you what. The handling was nice. The interior's so beautiful. It's the Crew 2. It's crazy to see the Crew 2 cars in this, right? Like, there's the High Octane, the Shirogane, the Hoodlum, the full car carryover. Crazy talk. But yeah, I really like where this. I really like where this is going. I like where it's going. We got a bunch of Lamborghini propaganda, Lambaganda, if you will, everywhere. I really enjoyed the. I really enjoyed playing it. The Revuelto came first and second. It was a green Revuelto, the other one. And that's the end of the footage that I recorded. Oh, I also recorded the reward. So there's a little reward animation where you receive a car. This time we got the Diablo. Assuming all the playlists have different rewards. You get the Supra for the JDM playlist. Crazy talk. But yeah, it's good to see. We'll have to see in the coming weeks what you get for pro racing, what you get for vintage. Because I didn't see those two, right? I didn't actually do those two. But doing this and seeing this, crazy. I loved it. Thank you to Ubisoft Ivory Tower for giving me the opportunity. Let's just talk about it for a minute, boys. The Crew Motorfest, right? It's confirmed for release September 14th. I think it was September 14th. I hope I've not got that wrong, because I've said that a lot. Confirmed release September 14th. It should have been at UB Forward as well anyway, right? But we got that. We got big info on a lot of stuff, man. I can't breathe. It's so... Where's my water bottle? Of course it's not here. It's so hot in the UK right now, man. The one week I've got Motorfest stuff to do. It's this boiling hot. Like, why? But the game is this is gameplay, right? For the game to come out in September and to see this much about it when the game comes out September is crazy. That's wild to me. To get this much information when we don't see the game for another 4 months. Again, we had the Insider program, so I assume they're going to be getting a lot of information from that. So, you know, I guess we'll see some big stuff. UB Forward's tomorrow for me, by the way, recording this. This podcast is all over the gaff, right? The intro was recorded 2 weeks ago. The segment that you just watched was recorded last episode. Last episode. Yeah, my life's a TV show, chat. And now I've said chat. My life's a TV show, obviously. Last episode. No, yesterday was the last segment. This segment is recorded a day before UB Forward. And of course, again, it's just me because I was invited. Josh wasn't invited. It's under NDA. I can't talk to Josh about it either, right? It's a big old zip shut. But I hope to see you guys. And you know what? If you're here just for the Motorfest segment, I hope to see you guys watching the Stick Drift podcast. Look, I didn't know much about cars and anything to do with cars, really, until, what's it called? Yeah, and then I started doing the Stick Drift podcast, and I actually now have sort of learnt about cars a little bit, and it's nice. Especially with Motorfest teaching me about cars. I didn't know I was going to be taught about cars in Motorfest. Like, did you know the Acura NSX stands for, like, New Supercar X or something like that? It was something like that. It's already so hot in my room. I'm boiling. Okay, this is going to be torturous. How am I going to record videos? I'm going to need air conditioning. I'm going to need air conditioning. Where's my fan, man? Oh, right, there we go. Oh, it's actually boiling hot because it was in the window. It's just blowing hot air into my face. Motorfest, I really enjoyed playing it. I'm going to be doing big deep dives on all the information that comes out on it. Obviously, we're going to be talking about it on the Stick Drift podcast. And also, boys, if you're now here for the Motorfest information, would you want to see some funny? Because if you watched Fast X or you want to laugh about Fast X, check out the next segment of the Stick Drift podcast, because this is where we talk solely about Fast X. We discuss it, we laugh about it, we break down the whole movie, is this next upcoming segment of the podcast. So make sure you give that a watch, this extremely big deluxe episode. And again, if there's any more information about Motorfest, as well as everything we saw on UB Forward, because there's stuff I'll know, but there's stuff I will have missed as well. You know, we'll see what happens, we'll see what information, and I will talk about that information in the upcoming podcast episodes. So I'll see you boys there, as well as I'll try to get some more guests on, man. I need some more guests on the podcast. Enjoy the Fast and Furious segment, though. It was really fun to record. And we're just laughing a lot. So, check out the next segment of the podcast. Oh, well, what we can talk about, because you're already raring to forget it, is we watched Fast X basically right after last week's episode of the podcast. A lot after we filmed it, at least. We went to go watch Fast X, so you've forgotten all of it already.
Not all of it. I know Jason Momoa is in there, and he walks around.
And I can mention the fact that, obviously, you must have, seeming as you've already forgotten most of it, I believe you said something along the lines of, like, best movie ever made, or,
The Zedo one makes it best movie ever made.
Spoilers for Fast X, right? You've had a week, and look me in the eyes, dear viewer who is subscribed to the Stick Drift podcast and will leave a like. You don't care whether we spoil this movie for you. Let's be honest for a minute. If you're an audio listener, listen to me in your soul when I say you don't care if I spoil this. Well, I'll explain what happened. First, we made it to the theater. We go in way too early, and we get there.
We went in on time, actually.
Technically, did we? I guess.
Yeah, we got there 5 minutes early.
Oh yeah, then the ads.
And
right?
then there's 30 minutes of ads, which is criminal.
Yeah, so we just sat there for ages, and we thought you were getting annoyed at traffic or something, but then we were like half an hour.
Oh my
early.
god, the traffic on the way there is. Some people should have their licenses taken away.
The way Milton Keynes is like built is there's literally like a speed run way. Like there's a.
Well, it's the fact that they were slowing down for speed bumps, right? But not like, oh, I have a Porsche 911 and I have to slow down to like 20 in a 30 to do speed bumps. They were in a 2011 base model Golf diesel. Slowing down to like 5 miles an hour in a 30 for speed bumps.
We were stuck behind like 5 different Golfs at
and then a grey GTI showed up and done the exact same. Just not a new GTI, 2003 GTI. So.
I swear they just got older and older. Like each one was just and just locked behind him every time. I think he got overtaken by like multiple vans, I want to say as well. It's like vans and SUVs were overtaking you. But
well, that's because the runner was slow.
We get to that. We get to the theater. We go in, and the movie begins with, I think I remember it being an interestingly odd scene.
It's just like family, isn't it?
I think it starts at, I want to say Fast 5, 6. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, it starts with the bank heist.
So one thing straight away, because he's literally how you're introduced to the movie. Jason Momoa saved that film in every way, like
by leaps and bounds.
Like that film. Without, I'll explain like a general review. The best way I can review this film, I'll say this now instead of right at the end, right? If you needed one line from me to review this film, if it had less budget, it would be the most unwatchable. Oh my god, my chair back. It would be the most unwatchable film imaginable.
Yeah.
Budget is the only thing you see.
No, that's ZL1 scene.
Exactly. No, but that's the thing, right? Imagine the ZL1 scene, but it's also shot on a terrible camera, and it's
it would be funnier. So it wasn't a ZL1, it was like a Toyota Celica or something. And it's just worse camera angles. It'd be better.
But honestly, it's a parody movie. It felt like a parody movie at times.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I mean, right? Budget and polish is the only thing making this movie, like, my brain doesn't want to just switch off. Which, actually, no, to be fair, it makes you want to do it more, because at least it would be even funnier if it was low budget.
Some of the CGI was terrible.
Which is early on, so we'll get onto that. But yes, we start with a bit of exposition, and they've done a weird, like, George Lucas, goddamn J.K. Rowling revisionist history, where they've gone, and actually, Jason Momoa was there the whole time. And he was the son of a guy who was in the old movies, who I don't even know if we saw.
They stole that guy's vault. That's the vault they steal.
Yeah, which was one of the last, like, watchable ones, by the way.
And then he ends up getting violated by Dom and killed.
Yeah, I was surprised they never actually, like, they just sort of...
Like, Dom actually kills a person.
Yeah, he kills a guy. Which, to be fair, they're not morally good people. Like, you really think about it. They, took in Shaw in the end, right? Shaw ends up teaming up with Hobbs. Shaw was like a paid mercenary, was he not? He killed
Well, I'm
Han.
not up to date on my law.
As far as, well, like, in my head at least, as far as Shaw knew, he murdered Han. Han was he killed him. He went and looked at a person and went, I'm gonna kill this man, right? And then they just have him team up and be all buddy-buddy, and it's like, oh, isn't his sister hot, right? Like, what do you...
Was that part of it?
You haven't watched Hobbs and Shaw. Or at least recently, tell you what. But,
to be fair, I might
Jason
not have watched
Momoa,
it, bro.
Absolute legend of the movie. Saved the movie in every way. Like,
It's like one of the only people who can act in that film.
Genuinely made it enjoyable. I take back everything I said about what did they do to Jason Momoa.
But it was like, when you watch it, you can see they did it on purpose. He's meant to be a kind of goofy villain.
He's not supposed to be Aquaman physique, right? He's supposed to be like... It's that kind of, like, modern menacing, right? Like, you don't get, like, a evil, conniving, scar-through-the-eye, muscly guy villain anymore. If they're more flamboyant and giggly as they're committing mass murder, they're more menacing in modern
He's just
cinema.
like a joke, especially towards the end, like, he's very Joker, where he just blows the building up with the guy in it.
Yeah. And, skipping ahead a little bit, there's a scene where he's got two dead bodies, right? Covered, taped up, eyes taped open, and you don't see this reveal yet. It pans out he's just doing someone's nail polish, right? And he's got nail polish himself, which society, am I right?
I saw on TikTok, the zestiest villain of all time.
He kind of is, but he's got like he top 10 society moments. I'm surprised Facebook isn't an uproar of it. He's like, oh yeah, it really brings down your masculinity or whatever, which we all need nowadays. SMH, not in my America. Oh my god, I'm absolutely chucking that into one of the main topics
Not in
this
my
week.
Rome, don't you mean?
I mean, not in his Rome, but no, as in the viewers watching. Not in, shilling this on our kids. Shit, I'm surprised it hasn't been banned in America, considering Jason Momoa is zesty in it.
Hasn't Florida banned, like, certain Disney films from being shown in school or something?
You can't mention any kind of, like, same-sex anything, I think is the...
Didn't they clown on Russia for doing the same thing?
Yeah,
like, not too long ago.
Yeah, they talk about censorship in other countries, and then, like, just censor anything they can, right? It's literally just that. It's just that they banned, like, mentioning same-sex anything, which, look, I don't care.
I'm not in America. I don't know.
I don't
You lot deal with it.
Yeah, right? And we're supposed to be the ones without free speech, right? Like, it's
we get the voxel Astra and you don't. So.
Exactly, right? But, like, at the end of the day, it's goofy behavior from America. That's all look, I don't care. I don't care if you have a political opinion. I don't care. I play a racing game, okay? Right? Leave me alone. But what's it called? Zesty Jason Momoa, like we were saying. There's a great scene where he's like doing some nail polish, and you don't obviously see it, he's just talking, and it pans out, and it's on two dead bodies who, I quite liked his characterization as well, where he was at like a thing to blow up, right? And instead of blowing it up, he goes, oh, what should we do? Blow up the Vatican? oh, you guys are going to hell. And then it just, very well-made character.
When Dom shows up to the car meet thing, he's in a purple, what is it, in a purple Impala or something?
Yeah, and he's like matching.
Wearing a purple suit, he's got like a head, like a velvet hairband in his head. He curtsies when he gets out.
Yeah,
like,
he curtsies. Yeah, he does a little curtains, matches the drapes to the outfit to the car. There's such a good, like,
such a well-written villain.
For that movie. Right?
I think it's just Jason Momoa can act. Like,
yeah.
I just think that's it.
I like to hope that Jason Momoa chose how that character behaves. Just to completely detach him from everything
He
else.
chose
in this
the
movie.
car and the car color. I know that much. So.
Oh, okay, yeah, good, because Jason.
So I'd assume he had a say in the outfit as well if they matched.
Yeah.
So.
But like, yeah, it's the modern day menacing villain, right? Yeah, like I said, you're not a menacing villain if you're like a Jason Statham anymore. You're a menacing villain if you're a Jason Momoa now. But from Jason, how poetic! One Jason to another, right? One stoic, mercenary.
I mean, he's just
man.
clinically insane in the film. Like,
No, yeah. Like he's most definitely like traumatized insane. But speaking of that,
which is Dom's fault.
Exactly, yeah. So what happens is they like edit him into shots in the Brazil movie, in the one where they do the Brazilling,
bank.
right? They steal the bank vault and he's there, and he's in the police station when it happens, and Dom steals the thing and he's like, oh, I'm a killer.
Now that you mention it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those scenes from Fast, is it 5, I think it is, or
Yeah.
6? I don't know. Some of the CG in that's better than the Charger going downstairs scene.
I remember.
Been like half a decade.
As soon as that started playing, I was like, God, how much better of a movie was that? Like, I remember when it started, like, right as soon as it started playing, I was sat there thinking, I would rather be watching that movie again.
It's just like, they have to keep one-upping themselves to...
Yeah.
Because they have to in their head, I imagine. And it's just progressed from undercover cop film to like an action film to like heist film, and then they go into space in the last one, and now family. I don't actually know
It's
what the
like-
plot. What was the plot of it?
What? Of which one?
The X
X was
family. Like
It's just Jason Momoa. It's just Dom v Jason Momoa, I think. Oh, tell you what.
Spoiler alert! In the end, he doesn't stop him. So like, I mean,
Exactly, yeah, because part series, right? But
yeah.
what's it called? It's yeah, like to be fair, right? I was gonna say it's a Marvel thing, right? Having to one up themselves every time, and then having done Infinity War. Even they've done that a little bit, right? Because now they do the Moon Knights and the Werewolf by Nights and the smaller level stuff, while having to one up themselves.
Yeah.
That's the issue. Fast just keeps doing that and doesn't bother doing anything interesting outside of it. But we continue on. We see the shots there. It's like, and actually, those cars chasing Dom, one of them had Jason Momoa in it the whole time. And Dom murders his father, strategically calculated murders Jason Momoa's dad. He then boots Jason Momoa into the water or something, and there's Touaregs with miniguns on them, which I remember I was like, no, it's a Volkswagen Touareg. Then I think we switch to the Dom's car drifting, and we find out it was Dom's child drifting in the car. Whoa! Straight away, was it just me? The green screen on Dom standing at the window.
I was going to say in the cinema, it was too early on to start criticizing. It was one of the worst green screens I've ever seen in my life.
in like a
Like, the lighting was so off. I don't
Yeah.
get how they... Like, that would have gone through multiple editors, and no
Yeah,
one
it
sort
was
of fixed that.
so bad. It was comically bad.
Well, you gotta think that I imagine they did try to fix that, every person who it went through.
Yep.
But what did it look like before?
Exactly right. What
They filmed
is-
one scene on the moon with the last
Yeah.
film, and then the other scene in the world's brightest room.
It's so comical because it's like It reminded me instantly of the Marvel floating head, right? Like it was the floating head is instantly
Miss
what came to
Marvel.
mind. Oh, and Miss
And
Marvel,
any scene
yeah.
in Miss Marvel.
Even Miss Marvel knew to look away when
They
something.
heavily focus blood in Miss Marvel. You could barely see what's going on, but you
Yeah,
could tell that it was off.
yeah.
But they didn't even try with this
It
one.
was
It was just
shocking, but he gives him some advice, which is like, oh, that'll definitely not come up later in the film. And then I think they just go and do a big family. They
everyone's there. It's
Yeah,
all
and
buddy
it's all
buddy.
except for The Rock, because Vin Diesel doesn't like The Rock. To quickly jump ahead, speaking on that, because right, we won't mention The Rock again this movie at least, right? The Rock is only featured in a post-credit scene, which, with how much back-end arguing there's been with Vin Diesel and directing, I assume when they got to the tail end of production, they were like, oh, screw Vin Diesel. So The Rock is there, but just in a post-credit scene. But you don't see his face till the very end. So for a split second, I thought Vin Diesel was just gonna body double cast kill The Rock. I thought he was gonna walk in. So I'll paint the picture of the post-credit scene. He walks into just a theater. There's screens, and Jason Momoa's like, "You helped Vin Diesel, so I'm gonna come after you."
The most Joker scene ever. Like I think I thought he was gonna blow him up or something.
Exactly, yeah. If that was in The Batman, and it was Batman walking up, exact same thing, right?
Riddle me this.
Exactly, right? You helped Vin Diesel, Batman. But for a minute, because he doesn't take off his mask until the very end, I thought Vin Diesel was so petty to body double The Rock, not have him take his mask off, and Jason Momoa just go, "You helped Vin, so I'm gonna kill you." Instant gone. Done.
That would have made the film a lot better.
I would have, like...
Vin Diesel's personal vendetta.
I would have almost had respect for that level of pettiness if he body double killed The Rock. But, no, The Rock unmasks, and he's like, some bitch, because that was his line in a different film or something, I assume. But we jump back to the big family, and I remember thinking when the big family was going on, this would make a better TV show than anything. It felt, because of the weird budget quality as well, the really varying quality, I was just thinking the whole time, it felt like it should have been a TV show. The acting felt like it should have been in a TV show. The CGI, the green screen right at the very start. It would make, honestly, maybe even a better TV show than whatever that was. But we see the big family, and they're planning a heist, but then they're like, hey, and we're a big family. And then we cut to, I think if we jump a little bit, we just cut to Dom and Letty being like, yeah, I love you and shit. And she puts the cross necklace thing on him. And then it's night, they tuck away Dom's kid, and out of nowhere appears a car I've never seen before, a concept DeLorean. It never shows up in the movie again. I don't know what it is.
No, I was so confused by that show. I was like, yeah, I thought you were like...
Speaking of, cars at the beginning of the film, there was the electric charger too. Like, fair is fair. There's some cool cars in the film, right? Like, the electric charger at the start is interesting, at least.
It just despawns at some point, because when they go back to the house, it's not there.
Yeah. But
it just goes on a holiday when no one's driving it.
Exactly. When Dodge were like, actually, we don't want our brand in this film.
Dodge took it back. Yeah.
Fast X intro. What would I even? I literally just want to type family scene, but I don't think it'll come up.
No.
We see he's there, and also, right, look, I understand the guy is dead, right? Very unfortunate, of course, rest in peace, Paul Walker. Within the movie, though, it just feels like they're leaving him out of everything. It's just like, it's like they're all there, and they just decide, yeah, we're not going to invite Paul. Why would we invite Paul to this? Or what?
I mean,
Brian?
I think it's implied he's dead, because he looks at photos of Paul in the garage when he's on his own, and there's sad music, so
No, when shit goes down right at the very start, Dom says to the agent guy, he goes, "Me and Brian are safe." Like, yeah, he says, he says me.
I guess he's just missing Paul in the
It's
context
just, yeah,
of the film.
like, it maybe would have been better if he, unfortunately, obviously, did die off in the movies, because it makes it a lot simpler to have it written around, right?
I wouldn't put it past him to have a full CG version of him.
Yeah, like, that's the thing, right? Of course, he did show up in this film again, because they used old footage, and again, it just made me think, God, that was so much better of a movie. Oh my God, wait! They used the green screen Dom in some of the trailers? It looks just as bad here.
It is so bad.
Like,
you can see the difference in color temperature.
Yeah.
What were they thinking? No one who worked on this scene had a film GCSE.
I want to say it was worse in the, like, it was worse when we watched it as well.
It looked much worse on a big screen.
Yeah. Like, because I think they tried to counter it with, like the sun right behind him at one point, or it being, like, a really sunny day. This looks a bit cloudy. I want to say in the movie, it was sunny, and you could tell where the outline was and everything. It was unbearably bad.
It was a choice they could make,
But,
Why do they all drive Z4s?
Exactly, right. There was a couple other cool cars in that big old scene, but, pardon me, one thing we then see is at nighttime, rolling up to the house, is this concept DeLorean, which I've never seen before. I was like, what is that? And then I vaguely made out DeLorean on the front there, because it lights up and everything. What actually is this car? The Alpha 5?
Someone brought the DMC brand, and they made... I don't know... They're trying to make these, but I don't think it's ever going to succeed.
Yeah, it's got suicide doors. It looks cool from the back, I guess. We don't see it from the back of the movie, I believe. It's an electric sports car, apparently, of some kind.
Yeah.
It looks cooler in the film than it does right here.
Yeah.
I don't even know her name. One of the villain ladies.
She was in a film, apparently.
She was in one of the ones before, yeah.
They make sure to remind you she's a villain. They make you see her execute someone's... I don't even know who it is. Someone's wife or something. I don't know.
Executes Brazilian woman from the Good Film. But she executes her, and then Dom, like... Look. She probably did a lot of bad stuff, right? But she's... I don't know if this is... traditionalist or whatever, cringe, whatever, right? Politics, who cares? Seeing big, muscly Vin Diesel threaten to beat up a woman bleeding to death in between his
she is basically
bare
dead
hands.
when she shows up as it is. Like, just to hobble over to the door.
Like, sure, maybe if there was a gun involved. But he's like, he's just like big, muscly Vin Diesel clearly threatening an unarmed, defenseless woman. Like, right up, like, that was just a bit, okay, chill, Dom.
I mean, you could easily make Dom a villain from, like, literally anyone's perspective. He has
You could
killed
probably just
multiple people.
re-edit the films, and they would be like, Dom's the villain.
Yeah.
But she's bleeding out, she comes in, and then they're like, why shouldn't we kill you right now? And she's like, cause if I'm coming to you, you should see
enemy of my enemy is also my enemy. I say, which is just cringe.
Yeah, the enemy of my enemy is you.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That was cringe. That was.
And then we go to, and you know what? How is that writing so bad? But then Jason Momoa in this next scene I'm gonna talk about. So I
think Jason Momoa cared enough about his role to actually advise the writers on what he wanted.
They flash back onto why she's there bleeding out on his goddamn couch. And it was because she was there, and Jason Momoa spawned, and he comes up to her, and he's like, hey, you're gonna help me. And there's like plenty of guards with guns on him, and she's like, no, I'm not. And then he goes, oh, okay. And every one of the guards' families kidnapped FaceTimes them. And he's like, you can, or I'll kill every single one of your families, after stating all of their government names, and then gets them all to turn on woman, and then takes the nerds, quote-unquote, and leaves, right? I was impressed. I'll admit, that scene, me describing it hasn't done it justice. I was impressed by that scene. It was, and like, they made him menacing.
Interesting. Yeah.
they made him feel like a force, right? Like him getting all the families and getting all the threats and all the whatevers, right? Big old fight scene. She ends up there. Turns out this big heist everyone else was going to do, and Dom is like, wait, they're supposed to be doing a heist with you, Mr. Military Man who I called. Oh no. Then they're in Italy? Is that where it was?
I think it's Rome, which
Rome?
is probably in Italy. I don't know.
I believe Rome is in Italy.
Never been good at geography.
And they're doing a big old heist, but turns out, whoa! Jason Momoa was behind the heist, and he'd actually led them all on. They're using a gold Gallardo, what was it? An Alfa Romeo of some kind?
An Alfa Romeo of some kind. It was an old one. I don't know what it was.
An older Alfa Romeo, a gold Lamborghini. Turns out there wasn't computer chips in the truck. Why are they stealing computer chips?
It's such bad, right? Like, it's obviously someone in their 50s, right? Like, what are they stealing? Modern computer chips.
Yeah.
Got a van of the i7 if they needed. I don't know why they'd need them. But...
Yeah. But turns out it's a big bomb, and they're gonna blow up the Vatican or whatever. And they go. And by the way, I want to point out the bomb is a sphere, right? And Jason Momoa later on says, "Did you like how I made it a sphere? It was an homage to the rolling bank vault." But Jason Momoa's plan wasn't for it to roll. It was to go there in the truck. The whole plan was to get the thing there in the truck. He accidentally had to end up rolling it. But then he's like, did you like how I made it roll on purpose? It's because it was
quite embarrassing. It'd be a short movie if it was square.
Exactly, right? He would have blown up the Vatican and then gotten him arrested, I guess. Wait, they would have all died. Surely they would have all died. Of course they had to survive. But yeah, of course. Dom's in like a Charger, and there's a terrible, terrible, terrible scene where it goes down some stairs.
I don't know. It obviously wasn't like an actual physics simulation run for that scene. It looks like someone just hand-pathed the car going down the stairs. It's actually some of the worst. Like, I know this gets handed. It is the worst vehicle CGI scene in the past 2 decades. Like, can you remember the last time you saw a car scene that bad?
It was probably in another Fast and Furious movie. Oh, yes, I can. The driving Mercedes in Miss Marvel.
That car just changes. It just changes car. But at least it's a real car.
That one was just a PNG that they made drive across screen and then is a different car. But see, as far as actual CGI goes, terrible.
Yeah.
As well as a lot. Like, the physics just made no sense in so many of the...
Yeah.
They, like, keyframed it. They keyframed the cars in a lot of it. But
surely they had the budget for physics sims.
Yeah. They go in, they continue on, and it's trying to blow up the Vatican, and Jason Momoa...
Dom hits a Rocket League.
Yeah, he does like a big, it's, to be fair, as you said that, I've just pictured like Rocket League music over like that.
I saw Rocket League edit, but that's why.
That's probably on TikTok somewhere, I imagine.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Rolling, right, it's just, it sounds like Fast and Furious movies, right? Fast and Furious movies. They just go, what would be something mildly cool to see on screen? Okay, now let's write a script. That's what it feels like happens. Because, sure, it's like slightly interesting to see a bunch of cars try and stop a rolling bomb. Where's the substance? Where's the characters? Where's the script writing? Where's the anything other than Jason Momoa, right? Like... But they do that.
They had a practical charger as well, by the way. They when it crashed through the cafeteria area, that was a real charger. I don't know why they didn't use that. It was already crashed through a building. Put it down the stairs. Like, it's not going to get any more broken.
Dom can't manage to push it into some water while it's on a bridge, so he dives off of the bridge to hit a crane, to have the crane to spin, to have the crane's counterweight perfectly timed to hit the ball while
He's a
Tom
genius mathematician, so I call that out in 5 seconds.
while Dom goes and crashes into some wall and then continues driving while the ball gets hit into the water. Still does, like, global terrorist event level, like
It's actually a massive explosion, considering it's
remember when
underwater.
something blew up back in, was it in the pandemic? It was like in the pandemic, something, I want to say East Asian, I think, Lithuania, I want to say. Something blew up, like something had been stored somewhere by mistake and there was a fire, because the video of it, like,
in the fireworks in the port area.
I think so, yeah. But like, there was a massive explosion somewhere in the country, somewhere in the world, and like that was a massive thing. This was in the middle of a majorly populated city. This would be global altering. Like, the world leaders would be meeting for 2-3 years straight talking about this. And it just happens in a Fast and Furious movie. But
Imagine how big the explosion would have been if Dom didn't rocket it into a crane and knock it in the water.
exactly, right? Like, that's the thing. Like, it goes in the water and it was still massive. Like,
I mean, don't they say it will reduce the explosion size by 80% or something?
yeah. But then she said, like, when it sank to the bottom. So I assume, but it blows up, like, basically as it gets in, I think. So I guess it wasn't
What's
as...
I don't know. Who knows?
What I assume you were going to say is, where's the, like, bomb special... this doesn't make any real words. There's no real world
it doesn't.
equivalent
Dom,
of this.
the weight's in the back of a crane like 30 ton. There's no way it would have moved anyway.
Yeah. But,
You
like,
just bonk back straight to the water.
it lands in the water, and then, like, it blows up a lot of everything, and then, Dom, they're, like, global terrorists now, and we get a scene about that. They say, oh, but no one died. Uh-huh. Like, even...
The explosion was big enough to flip cars, like, 400 meters away.
Yep.
There was 100% pedestrians within 40 meters.
There was fire. There was, like, yeah, it was flipping cars. Like, there was pedestrians. We saw construction workers, police.
Oh,
like,
the construction workers got evaporated. Like that.
exactly. Like,
They might not have been injured, but they
regardless
were evaporated.
Yeah, regardless of whatever kind of, like brute heat force, right? Wind alone, they would have been clobbered into something. But, we go from that, they're now terrorists. Oh no. The rest of them have to run while Dom is on his own. I forget why he was on his own. I don't remember, honestly.
I don't remember either. He was family. I don't know.
The rest of them have to meet up with Dom. I forget why they were separated. Oh, and there was 3 side plots. It was Dom doing Dom things. Oh, and John Cena, with Brian's wife, Dom's sister, which I forget their siblings. John Cena and what's her name are siblings. God, this
John
whole
Cena kills
franchise.
himself.
But like they go and it's so weird. So it's part Dom lone gunmaning everything. It's part all of the rest of the people making a big ensemble comedy, and it's part road trip movie with John Cena and Dom's son. And
Yeah.
that's the 3 plot lines. Movie's a mess. It's a mess, right? I almost, like, what are they, you know what, I just realized, they're probably going for an end game, right? Like, Avengers Infinity War had, like, 5 different people doing 5 different things, right? And then the next one, it all made sense or something, but it's the Fast and Furious franchise.
I can't wait for Fast X Part 2, where all of this will continue to make no sense.
Yep. But, they go, and for some reason, the ensemble cast end up in London? You couldn't tell it was London, even once, because they were just within buildings half the time, because we can't afford to film in London, even though we have this much budget. They also then, like I said, John Cena is on a road trip with Dom's son. I feel like John Cena was fine. Like, he was slightly more watchable than everyone else in the film. There was then, they go, and, oh my god, he was part of one of the dumbest things in this film, though. But Dom, I think then... What's her name? The woman no one
I
likes.
don't know anyone in this film.
I might even try to start speedrunning. Who's the woman that no one likes? Miss Captain Marvel. Captain
Oh,
Marvel
I can't remember what her name is. It's
actress. Brie
Somebody
Larson.
actor.
Brie Larson is the daughter of one of the guys from the other film. She's like, hey, I am replacing him now for some reason. And Dom meets up with her. She goes meets up with Letty. Then she helps Letty escape. Then she ends up going back to Dom eventually. Dom is like traveling around or something. She meets Dom somehow. She also helps this organization which exists for some reason. Felt like out of a video game, that like organization.
Yeah.
When they had like an undercover base with like the wall being rocks, their base was comically bad. They had a scene where it was like a walkway to a hovering platform with a holographic like projectors everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the actor from Jack Reacher TV series cast, Alan Richardson was the actor for the new, whatever guy. Jesus Christ, how much did they want to spray tan him? How much spray tan? That's where the budget went. It went to all that goddamn spray tan. Like, this is what the Alan Richardson, right? This is Alan Richardson's regular skin tone, right? Let me show you Alan Richardson's regular skin tone. This is Alan Richardson's regular skin tone. How much spray tan did they want to use?
I might have been CG. I don't know. I know him now.
Yeah. He's like he's like the most generic muscly white guy you've ever seen. But they like wanted to make him Brazilian for a plot twist, I guess? But he's the new head of the agency and he doesn't like Brie Larson, and she goes and has to lone gun while their agency is now hunting down Dom and the team for some reason. And they have to deal with the agency as well as Jason Momoa separately. They then continue. Dom's on the run. I'm just going to start really skipping around. They, for some reason, end up back at... where? No, they end up at a street racing scene in Brazil, right? And I remember thinking, this is like the one good bit of the movie, because it felt actually like Fast and Furious. They were at like an underground street racing thing. They had to do a drag race. And it was one of the characters from one of the movies, I assume. Jason Momoa there, still being the best bit of the movie. Dom's there. They do a big race. There's also a woman there, who I'm like, oh, nice, a new character. Nope. Turns out she was the sister of the Brazilian woman the whole time. So then they bring her into the plot as well, and Jason Momoa kidnaps her and kills one or each of them. The drag race was dumb for its own reason. I'm not even going to get onto why the drag race was dumb. The ensemble cast end up going to Jason Statham for the sole reason of,
I
like...
know on the racing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find it so odd how they all get the exact same launch and are all perfectly level while all full throttle for like most of the race distance. It's just so...
When they're in like a Porsche...
One's in a 911 GT3 RS. One's
Nissan
Dom's in his Charger.
Fair Lady. An Impala.
What's it called? An RB26, I think, swapped.
Yeah.
Fair Lady Z. And an Impala.
And they all managed to keep up the entire time, basically, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, NOS is the only thing that actually separates them. But, Hyperman and whatever. That was a dumb scene. I'm not even going to bother describing because we've already been talking about this film for too long. It was a dumb scene. It was a dumb scene. I don't like it.
Most of it's dumb.
But whatever. Then they find out, oh, she's her sister or whatever. And then they continue. Oh, give me a sec. Right, I will really try and start speeding this up because God, this movie, this movie. So, you know what? I might put this at the end of the podcast, like shuffle it
Yeah, it'll
about.
probably
So,
be better because it's
yeah.
gonna be pure waffle.
But so we continue, and Dom comforts Sister Woman, and she's like, actually, I have some files on Jason Momoa, and Jason Momoa does a bit of the scene that I described earlier. He does a bit of just being the goddamn best bit of the movie. We then cut to Jason Statham. Sure. Most pointless scene imaginable.
Yeah.
Like, Han's there, and it's just,
Like, I think it was
like,
there so anyone who doesn't knows they have beef. I don't know in the
Yeah.
past.
But I hate when movies will have a fight scene just because someone will refuse to talk. It's like in Batman versus Superman, right? Where they're like, oh, well, we need them to fight. So Superman just spends the whole time going, I need to tell you something. Batman, I need to tell you something. I need to say something, Batman. Stop fighting me. I'm gonna fight back now. I need to tell you something, Batman. And Han...
I've never seen that film.
But you don't need to. Han opens the door, and he's like, I need to explain why I'm here. And he's like, you're here to kill me. And then they fight. Because Han won't just go, I'm not here to kill you, stop. And Shaw won't go, why are you actually here? You know, one of the people who was supposed to be calculated is just refusing to ask why Han is here. It's not like Han had a gun. Han doesn't look very physically fit either. They just decided that they needed to fight, right? Then the agency show up, and they're like, they're here to kill both of us, actually, Mr. Shaw. There's some bad attempts at comedy. They then...
Whole film.
Exactly. Except for Jason Momoa. We do stan zestiest villain ever made, or whatever.
Yeah.
But they recruit him for the sequel. They just go, look, Jason Statham's gonna be in the sequel. Because they bring it up, and they're like, hey, you need to come see this. They literally do a you need to come see this. They do a woman at... Pete Davidson was in this film. I just remembered.
I forget he was, yeah.
Just before this scene, Pete Davidson was in this film. Added on to the most pointless scenes in the entire film. They go
Really
there.
doesn't need to be in there. Yeah.
Yep, they go there. It literally doesn't need to. Because I guess later on it explains why the agency
getting
are
them
after
to the point of Han and
sure,
what's his name?
right?
Statham to me. That's the point of that scene. It's like, oh, we can't buy weapons from him. We'll go buy them from.
And to
Statham.
justify the agency know where they are or something. And so they do that. They take Pete Davidson is in the film. Whatever. They also, for a split second, make it look like Han is gonna have an acid trip moment because he eats a brownie, sees everything wavy for one shot.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
And then it's never mentioned again that Han ate a weed brownie. It's just not talked about, never mentioned. It's just, yep, and the movie continues.
We had more than one, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly, right. But he continues, and then Jason Statham and then fight. The agency are there, and then later on, they're like, Jason Statham, you need to come see this. And they're like, look, they're gonna kill your family as well, Mr. Jason Statham. And he's like, darn tootin' I sure... I was literally about to say, darn tootin' I sure am British, right? And I was gonna say that in a
I was gonna say, he's
accent.
a British cowboy, I don't know.
Yeah. He's like, not on my bloody watch. Bloody hell, bruv. I bloody better kill him then, bruv. Goes off and is like...
Drives a red Senna.
Yeah, exactly. There's a Senna. He's got like McLarens and Land Rovers and whatever. But he literally... most pointless scene in the entire film. We don't see him again in the rest of the film. He goes off. We then get back and bloody... oh, this film is exhausting. We continue back, and we get to a point where they get a plane somehow, Do we remember why they got a plane?
I don't know where they got that.
They must have explained it, but I don't remember why they got a plane somehow. Was it Jason Statham?
It had to be Statham, because they went from Statham to in a plane.
I think so. Because I don't remember. I just remember
Or
they
does
were...
Brie Larson send him the plane or something? I don't know.
Maybe?
Because it had God. It has no. It doesn't have God's Eye, does it? No.
No, the other people had God's Eye.
I don't
think.
even know at this point. They had a plane.
Brie Larson had God's Eye, but they get to a point where Jason Statham and Dom are on that old bridge.
I don't even know
Whoa!
what a character name is. There's no Brie Larson.
Exactly right. They're on this. Oh, they're on the bridge from the Brazilian movie. Whoa! There's a meh fight scene where finally, whitest man imaginable with a spray tan, is like, actually, Dom, I believe you now. They have a big old fight scene, and we get to one of the best scenes in the entire film. So it's like a barely interesting fight scene. Couldn't care less. Brie Larson gets shot. Brazilian woman's sister doesn't get shot thanks to Dom. Who else is there? Jason Momoa still being the life of every scene. Brie Larson accidentally ends up giving what's his name God's Eye. We then get to a point where, oh no, Brie Larson's been shot, but Dom needs to go and chase Jason Momoa because Jason Momoa just threatened Dom's son with God's Eye. So Brie Larson gets handed over to Brazilian woman's sister, and she's been shot, and she's like, she needs to get to a hospital. While they're on a completely tattered highway with exploded cars.
There's no cars around, by the way.
No.
The cars that are ruined. They're full of bullet holes.
Yeah, full of bullet holes. There's been explosions, and they go round the corner.
They don't go around the corner. They pick her up and turn around.
Yeah, they turn around, holding Brie Larson, and there is a pristine condition.
There's not a speck of dust on it.
Right off the lot. Never touched, never driven. Commercial position at an angle. Wheels turned. Facing away from the fighting with no skid marks. Right? I didn't even process that till right now. Facing away from the fighting. No skid marks. Pristine condition. Camaro ZL1. Which, at which point, me and you burst out laughing in the theater.
Funniest scene in the film by far. Well, I saw it and was like, I managed to not laugh, and then you started laughing, and that was it.
Like, it was like, we got to
Like, from that point on, it was just like, what is this film?
that was when it went downhill. I remember, we were laughing for like, the next 2 scenes was just constant back and forth. That was when I was like, okay, now it's a parody. Oh dear, that was
Like, they didn't even try. It's like Chevrolet were like, you've got to have it in here, and they agreed to it at the start of the film or something.
Yeah.
And they found that contract at that moment. We're like, we can only fit it here.
Yeah. God, that was so good. I don't know if it was before or after. John Cena has a kayak rocket ship. I'm not giving you more context.
I
It's
don't know
better
when
without
that
the
was,
context.
but yeah, it's just kind of, it has wings.
It's a kayak that becomes a batwing. Whatever. And the child is in it or something, and it uses Smirnoff Ices for fuel.
That was a nice sponsor as well.
Yeah. But, so we get the materializing ZL1. We then continue. Brie Larson's in the hospital. Letty almost escapes with the villain woman from before, but they're like, wait till the next movie. Then
Yeah.
we see...
Dom's kid gets taken by Jason Momoa.
So they're driving, and they're chasing John Cena. John Cena. Oh, yeah, no.
John Cena
chasing
kills
John
himself.
Cena. Yeah, we'll get onto that because that was terrible too. John Cena is being chased out of like just an underground bat cave that he had. They're then driving
No rhyme or
around.
reason why he has that, by the way.
He just has a goddamn Batcave with like a Mad Max car in there for some
Yeah,
reason.
it has like 4 tank cannons on it.
Yeah, two.
How he obtained that, who knows? But...
Yeah, it was probably explained in the movie where he was. Probably, maybe.
Same with the ZL1 got there. It's magic. I don't know. Maybe magic's the underlying cause of the Fast
Yeah.
and Furious universe. I don't know.
And in the most convenient whatever, Dom's kid has to get out of the seat to fix the cannons.
Unprompted, by the way.
Unprompted.
Just decides, you know what? Off I go.
Yeah, I'll fix the cannons because they jam, right?
The
He goes
kid
and
who showed
fixes
no initiative all film, he just kind of existed, just grows a brain and goes, you know what? I'll hang off the side of a car at 130.
And when he fixes it, he sits there and goes, "Look, Mr. John Cena, I fixed it! Yay!"
And then somehow gets abducted.
Just grabbed, just like zesty
Like, how did
Jason
you let
Momoa.
that happen?
Like zesty Jason Momoa just grabs him and puts him in the car
Yeah,
Like-
yeah.
while Dom is there. And I thought John Cena was a villain, but I assume they had a. But actually, now you're family in the last film. I assume.
It's probably in space.
Yeah, I assume they both got in space and they were
On
in
the moon.
spacesuits.
And
Yeah.
then, yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, but your family. How are we gonna get home? Pristine condition ZL1 with rocket boosters."
Yeah.
Already on the moon. But we continue this final fight scene. So where we leave off everyone is, for now, we leave off almost everyone.
That should have been a running joke throughout the franchise, or the film at least.
Just
Like, they get stuck
materialise.
somewhere, Dom just materializes ZL1.
I remember it was literally what I described it as. It was like a Lego commercial. It was like a. Oh no, Brie Larson has to be taken to the hospital. And it
Like,
pans.
it's the fact that it was just in a massive gunfight, explosions everywhere, and
Yeah.
it's a black ZL1, and there's not a
Yeah.
speck of dust on it. Like, it's mint.
It was great. I don't remember what car the Mad Max car was. That was something.
It was something for sure. It's probably a Mustang, I don't know.
Dom's in his Charger. Obviously, I remember thinking, God, hasn't he gone through like 50 of these in this
They
franchise?
must have gone through so many of those, like,
Because I was
genuinely.
thinking, I was sat there and I was thinking, I wonder, in universe, are they claiming this is the same one from the first film?
You know, I think it's the same one, canonically.
Because
but
I don't care enough about the movies to
the
remember.
amount of times it's been blown up, crushed. It was hit by a train, wasn't it, in the first
Yeah,
film? I don't
probably.
know.
Yeah, it was, yeah. But I just feel like, because in one of the movies, I want to say it turned out it was his dad's car, so I assume it's technically supposed to be the same one. So, waffle. Sod it off. Fast and waffle is what this goddamn movie
Probably the same ZL1 as well.
yeah. But we continue on, and the final chase scene is whatever. It's like, sure is a final fight scene, chase scene, and then the dumbest, worst death scene I have ever seen.
They wanted him dead. Like, there's no other reason that happened other than, we
Yeah.
need to kill him off somehow.
Also-
Getting towards the end of the runtime.
Yeah, I imagine Vin Diesel decided he doesn't like him. Also, Gal Gadot was there.
Who?
Wonder Woman actress.
Wonder Woman.
She was.
You
God,
have
you
to
know.
Google who that one is.
She was the one in the submarine.
Are
yeah.
these all not the same people? Like,
Gal Gadot. Galgadot. She was in.
well, that was Brie Larson.
No, Brie Larson is Captain Marvel. This is Wonder Woman.
Well, yeah, but why was she there then?
She's been in the other movies. She was in the other ones.
What?
Gal Gadot, Fast and Furious. I think she was in the chucking the cars in between the buildings one. Yeah, she was Han's girlfriend, I think. I want to say. Yeah? Yeah, Han's girlfriend. In the one where they're on the beach or something.
Oh.
This, yeah. She was there, and apparently she died in a previous film, so whatever. So did Han. Also, where even was I? Speaking of terrible deaths.
I don't know. Yeah.
So John Cena, right? Also jump scared by this guy on the screen. John Cena. Cars are coming in oncoming. Dom is in oncoming for some reason. John Cena isn't in oncoming. And he goes, Dom, I think it's time for me to step out of your shadow. Switches the cannons to face down. This is all the prompt that's given. It's just, we're gonna do this together. John Cena goes, I'm gonna step out of your shadow. Switches cannons downwards. Slides. Shoots them downwards. Propels his car perfectly upside down. Lands on the oncoming cars. And fucking dies.
He's so funny. I need to step out of your shadow. Kills himself. What? Where did he come from? I don't get it.
It's just so bad. And he's gonna be alive. He'll be alive in the next film. Like, there'll be a last minute moment.
They didn't show him dead,
exactly,
so he will be.
Right? Like, I reckon, like, he'll be the one who saves him, Dom, from where he is at the end, I reckon.
Yeah.
So, they bloody... John Cena dies for some reason. Most pointless, most felt nothing death ever. They continue. They drive. They're on a dam for some reason. Jason Momoa's after them. They do basically one of the scenes from one of the last movies where the cars drift in a circle and someone switches cars. Sure, right? The kid switches cars and he's in the other car, and then they continue driving, and then whatever. They get to that point, and then they're on a dam, and whatever. They get there, and turns out the spray tan man was working with Jason Momoa the whole time.
We get another flashback scene to Fast 5 or 6 that shows him being there with him.
Yeah. Like, at this point, you know what? I want them to keep making these movies. Make this a 10-part series.
We're gonna get to Fast 26, and then in the space scene, there's gonna be like, I don't know,
like someone who they
Vision's
met, like,
gonna be in there, and they're gonna implement Vision from Marvel into
like,
the Fast universe.
Vision is
somehow.
helping Dom, right? And then they go, wait, but actually, and Vision just walked into a crowd of 25 in Fast 5 and goes, well, looks like our partnership is off to a bad start.
Yeah.
Just every film is a new actor in the family who then turns out was in Fast 5.
Well, I mean, they've got Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Might as well just implement their Marvel DC crossover in Fast 23. I don't know.
Like, if Robert Downey Jr. shows up and is like, don't worry, Dom, I'm here to help you. End of the movie. Fast 5 walks next to Jason
They changed
Momoa.
NOS for Infinity Stone, and then they press the Infinity Stone, and it makes it go quicker.
What? What?
The thing is, they could probably set that up again where they'd have like one where they're stealing the stones, one where they're making it into this NOS system, and then the next one they're actually using it. And they would get away with it.
Infinity NOS. In my head, I just want like a crowd of people all doing the same line, turning out to have also been in that same shot with Jason Momoa. Like, that's
like 30 people in there in the end, they're just standing there.
You get to Fast 40, and it's just another betrayal who also was there added on.
And the rotoscopes get worse. It just gets worse and worse shoved in. It's just a PNG, like 45 degrees slapped on top.
They're all green screened in. And the shot's been going on so long that the guys originally are now a still frame. Oh, this movie. But, turns out, who cares? He wasn't really fleshed out. I kind of like that actor. He was in, other things that I liked, but terrible performance from him. Betrayal Man, Spray Tan Man. He was working with him the whole time. Then a plane...
Whoa.
The plane with all the supporting
Then the
cast...
plane with everyone else just crashes into a mountain.
I did find it kind of funny, right? They should have made a movie that's just them. So they do the whole movie. Go to triumphantly save Dom. A funny man goes, the cavalry's here, Dom. It's a
Well,
trap.
I mean, from their perspective,
Dies.
all they've done is they were in Rome.
Yeah.
They all met up and went to
London.
England. Almost got arrested because Pete Davidson's brain dead.
And
Fought Jason Momoa for
Statham.
5 seconds. Oh no, Jason. What's his
Statham.
name? Jason Statham.
Yep.
And then spawned a plane and are now dead.
And are now dead. Until, like, the opening shot of the
He's
next
gonna use an
film.
Infinity Stone to revive him.
Yeah. They just, like Thanos, like, portal out of the plane. Like, watch them all. I'm writing it for them. Watch them all. What's the gliders? The wingsuit. Watch them all wingsuit to save Dom.
Because it goes behind the mountain before it blows up. When it's behind the mountain, they're all gonna. And then the guy with the money strapped to his chest is gonna say,
Yeah.
"Oh, but I've got these," and pull out like portable
Exactly.
wingsuits.
One of them will like. I
It's
can
like
already
always
see.
come prepared.
I can see Ludacris. I can see them joking, and Ludacris unzipping his wingsuit mid-air so the money flies out, and him going, "Oh hell no!"
Yeah, yeah.
Or they'll
He's
say
like, he owes me big time, or something
yeah.
like that.
He'll go like, "Yeah, get a receipt from that." Oh, this movie. Oh no.
This went from what actually happened in the film to what hypothetically could have happened if we wrote for.
Screw spoilers. This
Universal.
is a lot funnier if you've already watched the film. Because you know what I'm referencing. But then they die, right? They get RPG'd, and they definitely, for sure, 100% dead. Then, for some reason, Dom... Oh, no, because two tankers... Jason Momoa, the two tankers go at him, and then he jumps off the dam, and then he crashes, and then they swim to the shore, and then they blow up the dam. Jason Momoa is unironically
I mean, that's not even that's like eco-terrorism at that point. That's not
he's
even
a
just regular
national
terrorism.
terrorist. He would be plastered everywhere. Like, what? He's actually like he's like a Genghis Khan.
Not to mention the
like,
town that's now lost its water supply.
Exactly, yeah. He's about to blow up the dam.
Genghis Khan's a bit far, but yeah.
It took you a minute to process it.
Man blows up 2 cars in a dam. It's basically Genghis Khan.
Might as well be, right? Zesty Genghis Khan, right?
Genghis Khan would have blown up a GC3 RS if he were alive today.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. He's basically modern day Genghis Khan. The Thanos of the Thanos of the real world.
Yeah.
So every supporting cast dead. Letty and villain woman in a submarine with Gal Gadot. Dom. Oh, John Cena dead. Spray Tan Man betrayed. He was actually his best friend the whole time. Jason Momoa, Zesty, Dom, on
Same zesty.
on some rocks with his kid, looking at a dam about to blow up. Movie.
I like how the bombs
ends.
don't blow up instantly.
No.
Like they've got to charge up.
Yep. They doot. Movie ends. The film ends on a cliffhanger. Not even Avengers Infinity War did that. Avengers Infinity War had a rounded off first film.
Yeah, they've got to sell your tickets to Fast X2. So.
Whatever, man. Like, whatever. I just, like, what a bad film. What a hilarious film. It's worse now I've described it. You know what? Describing it was the same as watching it. The beginning, sure. The middle, hilariously bad. The end, unwatchably bad. Like, that's exactly what it was like watching it, and that's exactly what it's been like describing the film, right?
Yeah.
Your official review?
Official review? I'd give it a... Camaro's NL1 scene carries and Jason Momoa. 3 out of 10.
If the entire film was just zesty Jason Momoa, pans to pristine ZL1, it would have been a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
The rest of the movie...
The rest of it takes itself way too seriously and has terrible writing.
We watched reviews of this... we looked at some reviews of this film before last week, right? And they were, like, lovably self-aware. Was it?
There was not a single amount of self-aware. I think they just saw zesty Jason Momoa and were like, haha, self-aware film.
Yeah, right? Like, whatever.
With a ZL1, if they acknowledge the ZL1's miraculous appearance, sure, but they don't. It just kind of appears.
Yeah, like, give me zesty Jason Momoa against a good cast, a good superhero, a good. And not even, it doesn't even have to be a superhero. Give me him against, like, Batman or something, right? Like, give me, like, something well-written. Dear Lord.
Batman.
I don't know,
just blowing up cars and then just Batman's like, nah, not having it.
Hey, the heritage of the Batman, the Batmobile, is actually that he was a street racer or something, so, goes hand in hand.
Yeah, his parents got blown up by Jason Momoa in the street race.
They flash back to Batman's parents die, and at the end of the alley, Jason Momoa comes around the corner. Our partnership is getting off to a brilliant start.
That would be a good film.
Oh no. Oh, this film, man. I don't even know if I can recommend to watch it for hilarious.
I wouldn't recommend to watch it. It's a waste of time.
I hope you watched it for this segment of the podcast, because some references will go over your head. But my God, oh my, oh dear, that is an exhausting film.
It really is.
Oh dear. Well, honestly, from that, I think we'll record the rest of the podcast tomorrow, because I'm exhausted from that, honestly. I need something to eat and to rest for the rest of the day, honestly.
Too much Fast X talking.
Yeah. But, yes, you know what? At least we've had to describe that. Tomorrow we're going to watch Guardians of the Galaxy, so that'll be an absolute palate cleanser.
No cars in that one, hasn't
Exactly, right.
As much space as Fast 9.
Exactly, right. But yes. You know, I mean, no, I guess we'll do the outro of the podcast, right? Because that will be this. We'll do the gaming segment and whatever before. Yeah, so we'll see you guys next week on the Stick Drift, because this will be at the end of this episode of the podcast.
I'm sure you know what you're doing. I'll let you do it, yeah.
Yes, tomorrow we'll film the rest of the podcast, which will be the beginning segment.
I'm sure we will.
Yes. But yes, that's going to be about it from us. Don't go watch Fast X if you haven't already. Or maybe do. You know what? Wait till it comes on TV and watch it just so you can rewatch this segment. Don't pay to watch
it,
essentially. Yeah. Don't pay to watch it. Watch it so you understand the jokes.
Pay Jason Momoa to watch it. Don't pay Dom to watch it.
Exactly. He deserves the price of admission. The rest of the movie did not deserve the price of admission.
Fast 10 zesty Jason Momoa cut. I don't know.
Exactly. But, yep. We'll see you guys next week on the Stick Drift podcast. In a bit.